Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, that's cool, man. You make the call. Is it okay? Do you think it's fine? Okay, cool.
We're going to have to lose these things.
Sorry?
Try and just keep the tabletop as neat as you can.
4 minutes. 4 minutes.
Raksha, can you do me a favor, please? Can you take this laptop and just put it underneath that stool there?
Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you.
No. No, that's like 4 minutes to air. So we're about 3 minutes away from going live. That's what I was trying to say. No worries. It's yours.
Thank you. Thank you. Thanks, Manfred. Enough to run 800 meters.
Why do you want to run 800 meters? Calm. What's wrong with you?
Yeah, why are you running to Peter Mansfield? morning and Jambo, Goeiemorgen, Wamkelekile Ekapa. Welcome to the city where the mountain meets the sea in the southern tip of Africa and on the streets where Nelson Mandela took his first steps as a free man almost 30 years ago. 14,000 people converge on the city for what promises to be a fabulous day. It's the FNB Cape Town 12 ONERUN and we have fabulous weather conditions lined up for you. I'm joined by legendary broadcasters Manfred Seidler, veteran athletics journalist, as well as veteran broadcaster Alec Riddle, who are going to be calling this one for us. My name is Musibudi Whitehead and we're expecting a fabulous day. That is the weather out there. Alec, you are familiar with this part of the world. Good conditions for a fabulous run today?
It's turned out to be absolutely perfect. I think not only for the elite runners, but for the masses as well. 14,000 participants are going to love these weather conditions. For running, absolutely perfect.
Perfect conditions for running, and when we look at those conditions, this race here really is about the fast end of the field where we're expecting possibly a record, but also the masses at the back, as Alec has mentioned. Manfred, what can we look forward to today?
Super fast racing, as Alex said, perfect conditions. The first part of the race obviously quite flat, but some really good athletes have been lined up. A number of gold label athletes in the men's race, a couple in the women's race, and yeah, with the course record 33 minutes and 27 seconds. Maurice Gachaga, he's back to defend his title. He's looking for a three-peat, a hat-trick. He ran Paris Marathon, 4 or 5 weeks ago. That might be in his legs, but some serious contenders there. 6 guys under 28 minutes in the 10 kilometers. That's really deep, and I think we're going to see a really fast race out there.
Yeah, exactly. So that's the sharp end of the field, and these are the masses, the rest of the 14,000 who will start just a minute after the top runners as they run through the streets of Cape Town. That fabulous t-shirt, the wonderful blue of the FNB will be all over the streets of the city, and it really is also about the vibe as well.
Absolutely great vibe, and let's not forget some of these masses will be going for some big achievements today: gold, silver, bronze medals.
Well, that's the route, and as you can see, the first bit is along the Marine Drive by Milnerton, and then you head into Pardon Island. This is all flat, and once they get into town, as they pull into town here, bottom of Adley Street, this is where there's a slight incline, and that's the slow poison as you hit Company Gardens. Make a quick sharp right turn, another sharp right turn. That's a short sharp downhill, and then you hit Wales Street, which is a short sharp steep climb. And this point, the 11Ks right into the finish line, that is unbelievably fast. The downhill is just so super fast. Rumor had it Maurice Gachaga ran 4:27 for the last 2 kilometers. Wow! Because of that last that downhill. We haven't been able to verify that, but if that's the case, he's unbelievably fast. And that's what the finish line looks like. As you can see, that downhill, these guys are going to be flying down there.
Yeah, that wonderful downhill, also including the Bolt Sprint. What is the Bolt Sprint? What are we expecting from this Bolt Sprint?
It's a fantastic innovation. You know, they've got a timing mat for 100 meters, and it's to see how fast you can run 100 meters. Sometimes these elite athletes might contend, but believe you me, there's some athletes and some rugby players and some varsity students who are out here today to try and win the 10,000 Rand prize for the fastest 100 meters in the Puma Bolt Sprint.
I think what they'll do is they'll take a little break. For them, time is not important. Have something to drink and then catch their breath and try and sprint that 100 meters. Well, let's talk a little bit about the sharp end of the field, who's going to be running, who some of the contenders are. Remember, it is a bronze label status race for the first time in 2019, and you'll talk us through that, Alec. But for now, though, let's talk about the sharp end of the field. Manfred, we see some South African names there, but who are the real contenders there? Talk us through some of those names.
I think the big name we have to look out for, I mentioned him earlier on, Maurice Gachaga, looking for that hat-trick. John Langat also is a sub-28-minute 10K runner, as is Joel Ayet, with Joel finishing 10th at the World Cross Country Championships. You cannot write this guy off. Those cross country championships were unbelievably hard, probably the hardest cross country I've ever seen. So Joel Ayek is dangerous. Kilimo is another guy who's very dangerous to look out for, also a sub-28-minute runner. And you know, in terms of the South Africans, Elroy Galant is coming into really good shape. Moses Coach from Kenya, another sub-28-minute guy. It is fast.
Yeah.
Namako Nkasi from Lesotho, can't write him off.
Yeah, I can't write him off. Namako Nkasi, of course, trains in South Africa, does a lot of his running here. Do the South African athletes, the athletes from Lesotho and the southern part of Africa, have a chance against the East Africans, Alec?
Absolutely. Namakwa, he was, I think, second behind Morris in 2017. And of course you've got, Stephen McCorkle, Elroy Galant. These guys are phenomenal athletes. I mean, Elroy's got a 13:04 5,000 meters. Probably the only guy faster in the field is the Ethiopian, but some great contenders. And on to the ladies. We could call Tish Jones South African. She lives here for so often. She's done so well in the London Marathon just 3 weeks ago. But a few others there, Manfred, some really great names.
Yeah, indeed, Alec. Just a couple of withdrawals there. Glenis Ngaba has gone. Desi Jisa Mokonen also couldn't make it, unfortunately. But Kesa Molotani is coming into great form. Look out for brilliant Chip Courier. Also had a really good World Cross Country Championships. Stella Chisang, though, for me, has to be the favorite, even though Nikita Azamero is in great shape. Stella has been preparing for this race since the World Cross Country Championships. She knows this course, and she's got a bit of a... she wants to come back. She finished second last year. This is important. She wants to be on the top rung of the podium.
And for all of those that are tuning in across the world, two important numbers that we must keep in mind when we watch the elite race unfold, both the men's and the women's. Those are the course record numbers. Course record for the men's, which is a world best, is
33:27.
And for the ladies,
that's 38 and some change. Really good.
Some change, and that will be by Vivian Chariot in the ladies and by Morris Kachaga in the men. And those are the numbers that we have to watch. That 33:20, I beg your pardon, 38:22.
Correct.
From Vivian Chariot set back at the first FNB Cape Town 12:1 run is the number that we'll be chasing today. Do you think that Stella Chisang can threaten that course record?
She certainly has the ability. I mean, she's got a 10K PB, which she ran at the FNB Cape Town, the FNB Durban 10km sea surf run, 31:14, where she won that, and that's a Ugandan national record. So she's got the speed. She prepared for the World Cross Country Championship, so she did say before the race she's really strong, and since the World Cross Country Championships she's been able to hone her speed, get into the shape for this race. She knows about the short climb at the end. She's ready for it. She knows about that long downhill. Yeah, she's definitely ready for it.
She faltered a little bit at the World Cross Country. I mean, she won the Ugandan champs, but then was only the 5th Ugandan finisher. But I think she's determined here today.
Yeah, so we're looking forward to an entertaining race at the sharp end of the field. But don't forget that this is one run where all people run together, and you can see many of the masses just being held in their starting pens. They're getting ready for what's going to be an entertaining race. Of course, these start running 1 minute after the elite athletes, and many of them going for their own personal best. Some of them just looking to break 12 kilometers 1 hour. Others are looking to maybe get under 50 minutes, have trained well, and others are just going out to have fun. And all the different club vests also view, and category ages as well. Some going for good prize money in the categories as well, and we'll have a look at the prize money in just a little bit. It's the FNB Cape Town 12:1 run. Don't forget that if you're tuning in around the world, the hashtag for you to follow is FNB Run Your City, and that's where you'll see everything happening and all the photos being loaded. And the website thecapetown12.com is where you can join us as we celebrate this wonderful running event here in the mother city. And there she is, the beautiful Table Mountain overlooking this wonderful race as we see the prize money come up. That's some decent change. And when we talk about prize money and we talk about bronze label status, the two are quite closely linked, Alec.
Absolutely. The bronze label status is significant for this race, massively so. Michael Mayer spoke about its greater recognition for the athletes as international media coverage via the IAAF network, international exposure both for the race and the city, a fast course, and let's not forget, world-class organization. This is important. Two great events in Cape Town, not only the bronze label one here, but also the gold label status the Cape Town Marathon has got. It's the same status as Berlin, New York, London.
Yeah.
I mean, these are big events, and for such a young event like the FNB 12:1 to get bronze label status, it's significant because more and more athletes will want to come to try and improve their rankings, and that's why we're getting these world-class athletes.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, already at the press conference, the Kenyans were saying, Kilimi was saying, we've heard about this race in Kenya. We want to be coming here. We want to be running here. So that's really, really good for South Africa, for South Africa's athletes. And Stephen Mokoka has also got on record numerous times saying this has been one of the reasons why the depth of South African road running has increased. But huge vibe and entertainment down at the start line. And yeah, let's go and see what's happening at the start line.
35 minutes to go time. We've got 14,000 of you to get there. So start moving, please. Make your way through. You'll see these flags here.
So welcome everybody to the start.
Look at the time. If you
So
wanna
welcome
run
everybody
that
to the
time,
start of the
make
FNB
sure
Cape
you
Town
follow
12
those people.
1 run. This is the 5th edition running. We're right here at the start in Milnerton with over 14,000 athletes ready to congregate towards the city of Cape Town. Right behind him is the group, right behind me is the group B, and we also have the group as well, the contenders, which will be starting at 8:59. Not forgetting that the group B, C, D will also be starting at 9 a.m. as well, as you hear right behind me some of the commentators. But what I want to do now is actually speak to some of the athletes that will be participating in this event. If you can move on to some of the athletes and see what they can say in terms of the event as well. So you want to ask a couple of questions and see if they're ready for the event and how they're going to do in fair in terms of the 12 kilometers that they want to be doing.
So B, C and D batch, you will be the second start at 9 o'clock. All B, C and D athletes are on the first lane closest to the stage. And all E
So I'll ask maybe one of the guys here, right, just to ask him a couple of questions. Good morning to you, sir. Unjani tata?
Ndiyaphila bhuti kunjani ko?
Siyacinga nathi tata mamndo. Kunjani uziva unjani namhlanje in terms of starting this event? Ingaba yokuqala, is it your first one or is it your fifth one? Because this is the fifth running.
No, hayi yesibini tata.
Yesibini tata, okay. And what's your time in terms of what time do you want to do on a tata?
No, ixesha lami ngapha ko 45.
So he wants to do 45 minutes. Geez, that's almost like 3 kilometers a K. Yo, 3 minutes a K. I'm waiting for you to cue me, mate. So they're not calling you. I can't hear a thing. You couldn't hear me?
No, I don't want to hear.
Yeah, so they're having fun. I mean, the guy's over 40 and he's planning to run 3 minutes a kilometer. I'm not sure how many of us in studio can do that here.
Yeah, well, I think we've got to get the maths a little bit right. Yeah. 3 minutes kilometers, 36, but still, it's a fantastic effort. 3 minutes and some changes, I always like to say. But yeah, looking great. And there we have those course records you mentioned earlier, 33:27 and 38:22 by the great Vivian Cheriot. You know, the first ever winner on the female side, but Morris Gachaga coming back for a hat-trick, hopefully.
Yeah, and those are well under the 3 minutes a K mark. We'll be somewhere around the 2:47, 2:50 mark for the men, depending on what kind of time we get. And for the ladies, it'll be just a little bit above that. So it really is a race for the women more specifically. Where the men, we have possibly a race to unfold later on. Maybe the 10K mark is where we're expecting things to split up. But for the ladies, is it a case of Stella Chisang will run away with it from the beginning to chase that 38:22?
Well, you were at the technical meeting yesterday and she had a big grin on her face when that time came up. So that's ominous. I think that is significant. Stella obviously has been preparing very well, Stella just saying, but don't write off the Kenyan, brilliant Chepchirchir. She's in the mix too, and Azameria as well. I think what is likely to happen just in terms of these three ladies is that they will probably break away pretty early on in the race. I do think they've got a little bit too much for the South African contingent right now. South African ladies are improving all the time. That gap is going to close sooner rather than later, but I think right now Stella Chisang has to be the favourite in my books, just maybe ahead of Chepchirchir and Azamera.
Of course, she is the reigning Commonwealth champion over 10,000 meters, and we saw those pictures of some of the masses who will be coming through in over an hour, coming through at the back of the field. An interesting addition to this race is part of the Run Clean campaign. The single-use plastic has been eliminated, and many of those runners coming through the back have been encouraged to bring their own hydration.
Indeed, this is a huge drive, and it kind of started in Cape Town and spread nationally because we've been using water sachets forever and a day.
Yeah.
And obviously with the environment at stake and FNB, if we're outside the FNB building right now, it is incredibly environmentally friendly, and that's a drive that they're looking to as well. So, yeah, it's fantastic to see that's being introduced here at the FNB Cape Town 12-1 run, and be interesting to see what the feedback is. I certainly hope that the runners buy into it.
Yeah, speaking of runners buying into it and races like this, bringing in new innovations, how has this race been received, Alec? You've got your ear to the ground. You talk to many runners, many of their managers, and also many social runners. How has the FNB Cape Town 12-1 run been received by the running community for such huge growth in just 5 years?
Yeah, look, I think, talking about three dimensions, I think my daughter Cameron and her boyfriend Pierre, that they're at university, they're running as well as many of the university community friends. It's a big social outing for them today. Then you've got people like a great triathlete, the joint African champion Ben Delaporte from Durban, who's flown down specifically to try and run a fast 12-kilometer time. He won't contend for the top 10, but he's the type of guy who could run, certainly, pretty fast time.
Minutes, yeah.
And then you've got the elites that are coming out here, for experience. And, Manfred mentioned it, the South Africans, this is a great opportunity for them to race, to see, to feel what it's like to race alongside Kenyans and Ethiopians.
The interesting thing, as Alec was saying, South African opportunities. The good thing for the South African is the fact that they don't have to travel overseas. And this is what you're looking at in terms of the winners from the last few years. Emmanuel Bett, 33.32 in the inaugural FNB Cape Town 12-1 run. 1 second off the then world best. 1 second. Stephen Mokoka was 3 seconds outside of that world best. And both of those races, Daniel Salel was dipped on the line. This is why this is such a fast finish. It's so exciting. And look at Gichaga. He smashed that best by 6 seconds in 2017, 33.27, and then made sure he won and defended his title last year in 2018. Vivian Cheret, that was just unbelievable. And she ran away from that field. But she is a class athlete. You look at what she's doing now, moved up to the marathon as well. Really, really great running. And Yvette van Zyl, I think, she's just on the cusp of making one of the biggest breakthroughs in South African roading that we've seen in a long time. Tish Jones was very clever when she came here. She came off the back of London Marathon 4 weeks later, and she was strong. She had recovered enough to come and win. And Jacqueline Chepngeno, the young Jacqueline Chepngeno, taking it away from Stella Chesang last year, 39.12. That was more of a tactical race, but it was, as you can see, one of the fastest times that's been recorded here.
Yeah, and many of those are in this year's race, in the 2019 race. If we look through that men's list, of course, Stephen Mokoka and Morris Kachaga in that race. Morris looking, as you've said, Manfred, for a three-peat. And the women, both Yvette van Zyl and Tish Jones, in the race again this year. What kind of form are they in is the question. Tish Jones, well, her 2019 is looking much like her 2017 in that she's come from a London Marathon. As you've mentioned, Alex, she's done well there. She set a new PB of 2:31, so possibly she could come close to that time again. And we would love to see another sprint finish as we did in 2016 and 2015 in the men's race. Will we see it though? I'm not sure. Morris Kachaga in excellent form. So those are some of the names that you'll be watching out for as you watch the sharp end of the field. But at the back, there are lots and lots of athletes that are looking to have fun. We've got a man who's on the start line talking to some of them, and hopefully they've got some of their own thoughts about 40 minutes, 50 minutes, 1 hour. What they intend to run, they will tell us in just a little bit as we prepare for a great race and what we can expect from the back of the field. One very important thing that we've seen is that the elite athletes will have a different race number to the masses running at the back. They have a black race number with just their name on it, and the winner will have to be wearing one of those race numbers. They're called the contenders, and that's where the winners will come from. So these race numbers with the numbers on them you're looking at right now, C5707, that gentleman with the lovely headgear, that will not be the same as the contenders up at the front who have their names on the race numbers. So if someone has their name on the race number, that will be a contender who's running to win the race. These guys are just enjoying the race, and here, as you've said, Alec, for a fabulous day out, a social outing. Sipho is at the start and he's talking to some of them.
So welcome to the FNB Cape Town 12-1 run. This is the 5th edition of the wonderful event. We are now here at the start with about 14,000 athletes ready to congregate at the city center of Cape Town. What we want to do now is actually ask them a couple of questions, and not forgetting that this year, for the first time, they've actually received a bronze status. So that is wonderful, the event, for actually also the sponsors. What I want to do now is actually go to one of the athletes and actually ask them about the event and what they want to do as well. Not forgetting that we got all the contenders that will be starting at 8:59, and the B group just behind me will be starting at 9 a.m. exactly. So let's ask one of the athletes a couple of questions, and then we'll head back to them. So just start this. Hello, how are you? She's probably shy. Good morning, how are you? You're good. Are you ready for today?
Yes.
Good. So is this your first or second running?
Second running.
Your second running. So what time are you trying to beat today?
1 hour 5 minutes.
1 hour 5 minutes. So that is a good time actually. Just below 5 minutes. Okay, that's just below 5 minutes. Okay, so there's actually good running from the lovely lady as well. So so many ladies also being here represented. Just being represented as well, which is a good thing to see. So we are ready to see everybody right there. So thank you very much to all the sponsors also being partners of the event. I got my colleagues right at the finish who will be welcoming all the contenders who will be doing obviously less than 33. Let's see if they actually beat that record of Maurice Kachaga. We don't know Asazi, but we'll take it over and see what they have to say about that.
Let's get some urgency into those matches.
So there we go. They're in their starting pens. Do you recognize some of the clubs? Alec, you've been around for a while. Some of those club vests. I see Chappies there.
I was just going to say, if you grew up in the 90s or 80s or 70s, you would recognize Chappies, definitely. Yeah, there's lots of clubs there. West Coast, Belleville. There you see West Coast straight away. There's Chappies. There's the FNB T-shirt, that'll be very prominent. Nedbank, of course, they've got a couple of great runners in Vet van Sale, Tish Jones running, as well as Alfred Ngono from Kenya.
Tell us a little bit more
Nedbank
about him. He's a we haven't spoken much about Alfred, who's one at the sharp end of the field. What can we expect from the man?
Yeah, he's brought in by Craig Fry, who does a sterling job in bringing athletes into the country. Not too long ago, 6 weeks ago, he improved his half marathon PB by 3 minutes. That's substantial. 61:01 in third. 61:02, sorry, just 1 second behind Ronzas Kalimo, who's one of the invited athletes here today. So, Ronzas Kalimo, we reckon, is one of the favorites. So, Alfred Ngono right in the mix. He's going to be somebody to watch out for.
Yeah, definitely. Well, there you go. Some of the age group tags: juniors, seniors, veterans, and that's what they're running through the beautiful Mother City. Doesn't it look wonderful this morning? So this is last year's finish, Manfred. Of course, Morris winning it. South Africans very low down, 9 and 10. Are we expecting very much of the same this year?
Well, Maurice Kachaga obviously looking for a three-peat. We said that John Langat is back. He was third. Abdallah Mandi's also back. He was fourth. So those are the guys that have come back. Joel Moni is not here. Joel Moni is in great shape. He's not here today, though. But Stephen Mokoka, he's looking at running 33 low. He is very, very keen to run 33 low, and he had turned around and said, if they go through 10Ks and 27.50, the course record is on, the world best is on. That means you're looking at about a 13.50 halfway split, 13.45. Jacqueline Chepngeno last year, as you can see, running away from Stella Chisang. That gap opened only in the last 1.5 or so kilometers. They were running together for most of the race until Chepngeno, she's the younger of the two athletes running away. But Kessa Molatsane in third. I think between Kessa and Yvette van Sale, they'll be leading the charge from the South African point of view. Glenrose Gaba and Nolene Conrad not here. Glenrose have been pulled out. Nolene Conrad injured. And
quite a big gap between the second place Stella Chisang and Kessa. Should it be the same this year?
I reckon so. I mean, it's a deep women's field. When I say deep, we've got three really, really strong women, as we said earlier on, and they've all run under 32 minutes or close to 32 minutes for 10 kilometers.
And Kessa, ran the Spa Women's Challenge in Port Elizabeth just 2 weeks ago, 33:08, 30 seconds faster than she ran that race in last year. So I would think she's in better shape. But, probably she's in just under 33 shape. Some of these girls are 31 minutes shape, and that's the difference.
Yeah.
But this is what's going to raise Kessa's level. She's being exposed to world-class running and really starts to understand what it's going to take to get to the next level.
Of course, she was participating at the SA Track and Field Championships. She ran the 5,000 meters there, finishing in third place behind Casta Semenya and Dominic Scott Irfan there in a shade outside 16 minutes. So she'll be looking to turn some of those thirds into maybe a second or a first. Can she do it against the quality? Can she raise the game by a minute? It is a lot. So here are some of the runners.
Well, Bonnie Seeley is one of the local guys, obviously looking as one of the local contenders, but he won't be in the mix for the front end. I mean, we've gone through the list of contenders, and to be fair, from a South African point of view, Alroy Galan, Stephen Mokoka leading the charge. I see David Munger's just run and won a race up in Johannesburg. He's not here, so those two are really the guys we're looking out to challenge the foreign domination. And yeah, I think, Stephen Mokoka and Galant, they're both in great shape. They've got what it takes.
Yeah, and you saw some of the race numbers there with the name Bonisile on it, meaning that he is possibly identified as one of the contenders. Whether he wins or not is separate. There's another one, Lebu Palula, of course, twin sister of Lebo Khang, and Tish Jones as well. So those numbers with the race numbers with the names on them identify the contenders from where the winners will come. If there isn't an actual name on the number, then the person is not eligible to win, and that this group of contenders will start a minute before the race proper starts at 9 o'clock. It's the FNB Cape Town 12-1 run. Wonderful weather if you're just tuning in. Fabulous weather here in Cape Town this morning. Not a breath of wind. Fabulous sunshine and just a hint of cloud. It's going to be a great race. These kinds of conditions in Cape Town, do they produce fast times?
I'm almost sure we're going to see a record here today. Some of these athletes are in such great form. There's greater depth than there's been in previous years, and I think it's just going to raise the standards. We mentioned South African runners. One guy just to mention who's in the field and who could sneak into the top 10, Tabang Masiako, the former South African 5,000 meter champion. He looks like a jockey, he's so small, but he's a phenomenal athlete. He'll be running in the boxer colors, as are Elroy and Stevens. So a lot of boxer athletes here today, and boxers certainly making their presence felt in South Africa amongst all the big running clubs, like the Marion Robertses, the Nedbanks, and so forth.
Yeah, let's have another look at the routes just one more time for those that will just be tuning in. Manfred, take us through this one. What can we expect?
Well, I think the race is going to unfold at the sharp end. At the early stage here, as you can see, we're going through kilometers 1 and 2. This is where they're going to, the start's going to be unbelievably fast. They are going to bullet away, and then they're going to get into their rhythm, get into their pace. Once they hit the lower end of town, there we go. They're going to start climbing up Adderley Street into Government Avenue. Mentioned that before, and that's where the attacks came last year, the surges, and I suspect that's what's going to happen again. These guys, I think, are going to run fast. This is the sharp climb up Wales Street and then a right into Bree Street with that unbelievably fast finish. But I do think that the racing is going to unfold. In the early stages, we're going to see a bit of a race of attrition. The guys are going to fall off the back. The leading contenders will, once they hit town, they're going to start the surges. Mokoka tried to surge just before the 10K race last year, and as they hit Queen Victoria before they turned left into Wales Street, that's where the attacks came, and Stephen wasn't quite ready for it, and they ran away from him.
Yeah, so far as the contenders are concerned, Stephen Mokoka, you're talking about, and some of the age group of contenders that were looking here, 70 years old and still running strong. They've got two water tables, refreshment stations where they will get their stuff, and for the rest there'll be plenty of entertainment, water tables, music and everything else.
Yeah, absolutely. This is going to be a giant wave of fun, excitement, exhilaration. There we've got Jerry also in boxer. He's I think a great contender. This race is modeled on things like the Sydney City to Surf, the Beta Breakers. The Beta Breakers have got rich history, also similar distance. Started in 1912, in 1986 had 110,000 participants. And these events are great. I ran in the Peachtree Road Race in 1994, 55,000 runners. And it is absolutely amazing. But if you're not in that elite starting 10, you're in trouble. And these elite athletes, they've got an advantage. You get out of the way of the masses because it's carnage there. You have to run fast.
Exactly. Well, thankfully for the elites, they start a minute before everyone else, and it is a whistle start. So if you're tuning in and expecting a gun for the elites, no, you will not hear a gun. It's a whistle start for the elites, and then thereafter, elites such as Jerry Matsao here, who's of course been a 1500 meter champion in South Africa. It's a whistle start for them, and then afterwards, then the bigger start in waves at 9 o'clock a minute later for all the masses that Alex so colorfully describes. And there we see some of them warming up. Can you spot a few people there, Manfred? I see Elroy Galant in the distance.
Yeah, Elroy Galant. I saw Tabang Mosiako as well. Speaking about Tabang Mosiako, that tragic story about where he was attacked and how he's come back, that's what excites me about him. You mentioned how good he is in terms of what he can be as an athlete. The fact that he was actually in a coma and he came out of it, he went to Africa Cross Country Championships, and now he's back in some shape. He's an exciting young talent. Remember, he won the FNB Joburg 10-kilometer race a couple of years ago, and he beat Stephen Mokoka. We did not expect it. That guy is exciting.
So it put a pause on his development, but he's coming through in a race like this is such an incredible celebration of the human spirit, and we see it coming through with somebody like Tabang Masiako, who is just a great example to those youngsters looking up to him.
Yeah, exactly. And of course, this is part of a series. So Tabang Masiako winning the FNB Joburg 10K. This is part of the FNB Run Your City series. It is the Cape Town 12 one run. It is the Durban City Surf Run, which is a 10 kilometer, and of course the Joburg 10K, all part of the FNB Run Your City series. And many of these athletes, Elroy Galant, Jerry Mata, will have run in different cities this race before, and we look forward to them. Now, just some of the junior contenders, and if you see a J, just like Caleb there,
Caleb
that
Bucas,
he's a junior. He's a junior, and he's under 20 and looking to stick with some of the more seasoned runners.
Yeah,
Possible,
indeed.
maybe.
Well, Caleb looking a little bit tense. Jerry was giving us some dance moves. I wonder if he's going to try and emulate Morris Kachaga, what he did on the finish line last year with his dance moves when he won.
That was great.
Elroy is all business. You can see Elroy Galant is all business. He's had an unbelievable build-up to this event, to this race. He's been mainly on base training. He's done no speed work. He ran an incredible race in Durban, 61:57, and then of course the Two Oceans half in a course record time. And there is Morris Kachaga. That's the guy we need to be looking out for. And but getting back to Elroy, he does look really, really dangerous.
Yeah, he does.
And he's fast. He's a sub 4 minute miler, so he's got speed.
And he spent some time in Kenya as well.
Great athlete. But let's also just touch on, Moses Koech. Third in the Durban City Surf Run, part of the FNB series, 27:46 last year. He's also a contender.
Exactly. So they are all contenders, but the one person we're expecting to win, of course, is Morris Kachaga, and Sipho is talking to him down at the start. Sipho is going to give us a little bit from Morris Kachaga, but let's first just think about what this man has achieved. To win it twice and now to win it for a third time, it would be a wonderful achievement, especially if he can beat his own record. But this Morris Kachaga fellow, he's absolutely amazing because of his range, what he's been able to do from the short distances, pacing at marathons as well.
Yes.
He's paced Eliud Kipchoge.
He has.
So he really has a wonderful CV. He really has a wonderful CV and a great runner.
Yes, absolutely. And when you chat to him, he's very shy, he's very quiet, but he's confident. He's very, very confident. I spoke to him a couple of times in the build-up to the race, and he's looking in good shape. He did say Paris is a little bit is in a little bit of a he's a bit worried about his kick. But we did catch up with him at the press conference, and he was quite confident. This is what he had to say.
Yes, I feel so present because I'm after marathon and I see the frame is very competitive. So I'm looking forward and I just chase. I know frame is so full. Home best are coming and I look forward to win next. Yes. This year this race will be very fast and it can be fastest than other years. Yes, we can look for world best, but if you want to look for world best, you first have to win the race and then you worry about the time.
So that was Morris Kachaga, and I know that you favor him.
Yeah, look, Morris is a fantastic athlete. He learned his trade in Japan, incidentally, at the age of 18. He spent a whole year in Japan running there, I think 4 times in a month. In those Ekiden relays, he ran sub 14 minutes for 5Ks. So he honed his speed right out there. And, great athlete, coached by Bruce Lighty. Fantastic runner, friend of the great Eliud Kipchoge. We'll talk about him a little bit later, I'm sure. Phenomenal guy.
And if there's one South African who will be challenging Morris Kachaga, he said so at the press conference, it's Stephen Mokoka.
Yeah, it's going to be fast because this course is very fast. I think it's exciting because we got these are recent times. The guys who ran 27, these are recent times, and it's a great thing. So I think if we work together, with all of them, we try to push the pace as hard as we can run pretty fast times. Provided that the weather is coping with us over the weekend. Yeah, I'm excited. I mean, we saw him, the only guy ever in this race that's ever defended his title. As I remember, Emmanuel Bad finished 6th after finishing first, and then I finished 6th as well after finishing first. So now I'm hoping to better my position from the past 2 years, because I came here rusty, a little bit rusty. But this year, I think my shape is good. My workouts has been going well. So I'm excited, and I'm hoping that we get a good weather, and then we try to push the pace as hard as we can so that we can get a fast time.
Men's champion Stephen Mukoka. Let's hear from some of the ladies champions. Tish Jones won this race in 2017, and she was also out at the press conference. Can she do the same thing? Her 2019 has been similar to her 2017. Let's hear what Tish had to say.
It's going to be very important for me. I need to still process it myself. It takes a while for me to just believe what I've done sometimes. But it's not that it would give me confidence for short distance, but it would give me the delight of having got such a massive achievement. Taking that into a race environment is always going to be amazing, and actually enjoying a race after having worked so hard for months and months to gain that time at London. I am going to just look forward to enjoying the atmosphere, the crowds again, which that's what makes races great for me. I love the atmosphere. Yeah, it's a very strong field, and I still don't feel the pressure to run fast or win, because I can only do what I can do, and I know what I've been training for over the last 3 to 4 months, and that hasn't been speed. But it doesn't mean to say I'm slow, since running 2:31 does require you to run fast. It's just a completely different pace. Like a good 20 seconds faster is working those legs in a different way, your heart and lungs. But I'm looking forward to actually feeling that again, and getting that into my body, and knowing that actually perhaps I can improve over the summer in the UK, or if I'm going to training, I can actually improve on whatever comes out of Sunday.
Well, it's certainly warming up at the start in terms of athletes and runners, wanting to get going. We're certainly going to be going underway with the obviously the contenders at 8:59. It is a really, really great finish. The start, the guys are beginning to get excited. We're going to go back to the start now, where Sipho is waiting for us, and let's see what he has for us.
Well, just talking about Tish Jones, she ran the London Marathon in the Belgrave Harriers colours from Wimbledon. So if there's any international viewers from the UK, today she's running in Nedbank. She's still Belgrave Harriers, and lives
athletics,
out here.
not tennis this time.
Yeah, no, sure. She lives in Pinelands. Cape Townians will recognise her. She runs the roads often. Fantastic athlete, fantastic person.
And one person we mentioned who will be hoping to challenge Tish Jones today. She was involved in that race previously. You've mentioned Kisam Letsane, that she's in decent form in 2019. Can she challenge? She spoke about her race.
My race for this year, I am really looking forward to it. I'm looking for a better time than last year. At least I know how it goes now. I know the route now. And I'm just looking for something much better than what I did last year. So I'm happy to be here. I'm really looking forward to the race for Sunday. I am very excited because of the caliber of athletes who are currently here for the race, and I think it's good for our country, it's good for our athletics. So I think they're going to help me a lot. Well, I'm going to benefit a lot from them for being here, in the race. So I think I'm looking for a good race for Sunday.
So that's Kisam Letsane, who's hoping to challenge for the race. So those are all some of the main contenders who will be going for line honors today, looking for some of the medals. And let's just talk quickly about some of those medals that we'll be seeing. The first 100, what is the first 100 called again?
Gold medal for the first 100. The next 500 will get silvers. I estimate you probably have to run very close to 57 minutes to get a silver medal, which would put you in the top 600. Thereafter is bronze medals and, finishes badge of honor.
Exactly, and everyone just happy to finish. Those first 100 are called the Morris Kachaga medals.
Indeed.
For those first 100 gold medals. So, and that includes even the guys that finish in the top 10.
Correct.
Okay.
It's pretty cool, isn't it? I mean, you holding up your medals like Morris Kachaga medal, guy who ran the world's best time here, 33:27. Hopefully it'll be even faster this year. I'm certainly looking forward to that. But it's really, really cool that the running community has embraced this. I want a medal, and social media. Everybody's going on social media, showing off their medals, showing off their T-shirts. And I think running has rejuvenated in South Africa, not just on the front end, which is growing again, but also in the back end amongst the social runners because of social media, because of like, here's my medal.
Exactly, and remember that if you're tuning in from around the world and want to follow the action as well on social media, the hashtag we're using is FNB Run Your City. It is for the entire FNB Run Your City series, and today is the FNB Cape Town 12 ONERUN. 14,000 runners through the streets of the mother city, through the streets of Cape Town, enjoying themselves, having fun. As Alec correctly said, a wave of fun, and it's about to start in just a few minutes' time. But first up, it's the sharp end of the field as they get ready to get in their starting pens. Just less than 5 minutes to go, and there they are. This is going to be an exciting start.
Now, these are the nervous minutes. These are the anxious minutes. While you're warming up, you're still relaxed. Sometimes you've got an earpiece listening to some great music. Now suddenly you're facing your opposition. You're starting to think. But for some of the people, I still remember Harry Wilson, the coach of the great Steve Ovett. Steve Ovett was undefeated for 35 miles races in a row. And he said, you can't believe how nervous Steve is before the 36th race. But that's one of the hallmarks of a champion, because you can use the energy, the adrenaline.
Yeah, they'll tap into that nervous energy. There you can see Stella just saying there on the right, NN running kit very prominent, boxer kit very prominent. Is it going to be an NN running team versus a boxer team scenario? Are we going to see a spanner in the works with some of the Nedbank athletes? Kesa Molatani on the far left hand there in the yellow and black, or gold and black of Marianne Roberts. It's going to be exciting racing.
Yeah, I know, we got the NN team, we got the Adidas team, but they're all outnumbered by the Puma team. The Puma FNB T-shirts are going to be all over the road today. And, I remember at the press conference, them talking about the weekend warriors in those shirts.
They're about to get underway. 1 minute to start. The ribbon has been dropped, and we spoke about that nervous energy. The start, Woodbridge Islands and Milnerton, it's going to be frenetic. They're going to get away. When that whistle goes, they are absolutely going to fly out of the blocks. That first kilometer, I'll hazard a guess, you're going to be looking at about a 2:40, if not faster. That first kilometer is going to be unbelievable, and I think that will set the tone for the race going forward.
Well, in 2017, I think it was, they went through 5,000 meters in 13:39, which is about 2:45 per kilometer. It's fast, it's furious, and look at these guys really going out hard. There's Elroy straight away up in the front.
And they're off.
What a fantastic scene. Look at those boxer athletes. Stephen, right up there on the extreme left-hand side of the screen.
Gladwin Mzazi seems to have decided to take up the pace. I actually thought it was going to be a lot faster when they got away. The start did seem to be quite a sprint, but they seem to have settled. And that's interesting. I wouldn't have thought that that's what's going to happen. For some reason or another, I think right now they are watching each other. See, Gladwin Mzazi is driving the pace. Elroy does this so well. On the right-hand side, he just runs off the group. He always seems to do that, and we often ask ourselves, why is he doing that? Why is he doing that? It worked very, very well into Ocean. Morris Gachaga, they're sitting very nicely tucked in the behind the leaders, and his diminutive style looks so deceptive.
Yeah, it is very economical and very efficient, as some of the masses now come through the start line after the top runners have gone through. Remember, that was just a minute afterwards, and these are the multitudes who will be chasing these ones. And this is the group of front runners, and there they are. We see some age group categories as well there, and some of the not so well-known club runners that will be trying to stay in the mix with the big elite athletes. And these are some of them that we're looking at here. Some Ethiopians as well in the mix, as the NN team takes dominance at the front end of the field.
Guy on the left here, Batesfa Getohun, going past the Born Free Runner on the right-hand side. I mean, he's got a bit of a bad start. He's one of the main contenders for this race with he ran a 350 mile at the age of 18 or 19. The only reason he's not a miler today is because he's in Ethiopia and they get attracted to the cross-country in the road. Certainly don't run too many miles, the Ethiopians.
It's interesting to see how immediately the NN running team, we see this more and more around the world in the major international races. These guys come to the fore, they dominate, they set the pace. I like what Gachaga's doing. He's sitting there, and you can see just in the background there, Mokoka's doing the same. Elroy always means business. He likes to challenge in the front, and he's growing in confidence, he's growing in stature. We saw that in the Durban half marathon. We saw that at the Two Oceans. That's what they're racing for. 30,000 Rand first prize money. And to me, it just looks like they've slacked off a little bit in terms of the pace. We're sitting on 2:43. I'm expecting the first kilometre to be coming up anytime soon. But they do need to be running at around about 2:47, 2:48 pace if they are serious about that record.
Yeah, that's if they're going to threaten that course record. And you see that NN team, you've mentioned it prominently in the front there, Manfred. The question is, will some of this have been discussed before the race? Before we get to the women's race, do they say, you go out and you be my pacemaker? There are no official pacemakers. We'll come back to that point. Let's just talk a little bit about the ladies' race. We see Yvette van Zyl there in the mix. And Stella Chisang, as we correctly said at the beginning of the race, she's up there in the front, and that is
for the ladies.
For the ladies. So back to the men's race. As we had mentioned, do they discuss this? And Stephen Mokoka spoke about this at the press conference, that we need to break up the East Africans' rhythm. We need to break away the East Africans' rhythm. So is this discussed beforehand, that maybe we're in the same team, you're not expected to win, but you go out and set the pace for me, and I'm going to come from behind it and win this one?
That often happens when you hit World Cross Country Championships and races like that. I don't think so much in events like this. These guys have all got their own goals. Stephen Mokoka obviously realized that the pace needs to pick up if there are one.
Our top athletes. Well, we've got the top runners in the world. They've got also in different levels. So we have 8 IAAF gold label men's runners and 4 women gold label. And we have, as always, big names here from East Africa, from Uganda, Kenya, Ethiopia, and of course from South Africa. We're looking at
that tells you there was a bit of a surge in there, because there was a significant snap of what I call the cotton. You know, these athletes would be hanging on like a piece of cotton. It mustn't fray, otherwise it snaps. That little surge by Stephen, I think, just snapped that cotton.
Now to the women's race that we've spoken about. These are the leading women. Yvette van Zyl, they're leading the South African charge, as we see Stella Chisang up in the front. And just talk us through some of those faces that we're seeing there, Manfred. Who's in that leading women's bunch?
16. And he's also an IAAF gold label athlete, as well as Elroy Gelant. He's a silver label athlete. So Elroy Gelant, the South African 5,000 meter record holder.
She really looked good. And Jacqueline Chepengena obviously just tucked in initially behind her, and then sort of about 3 Ks into the race, Jacqueline took over and Stella was sitting on behind her. Yvette looks a little bit laboured to me. Yvette van Zyl, obviously having run the Two Oceans Marathon, and you know, she's strong. She loves to race with these tough competitors, but has she recovered?
I wonder. I saw it 2 weeks ago at that Spa Women's Challenge in Port Elizabeth, where Hilaria Johannes won. And Yvette was aggressive. She was pushing the pace the first 3, 4, 5 Ks, but she faltered and she drifted out of the top 3. But yeah, it's all about recovery. Will she have recovered? You know, Tish Jones, London Marathon 3 weeks ago, but a 56K like the Two Oceans is a lot harder on the legs.
Yeah,
no Tish Jones there.
Yeah, no Tish Jones. As you correctly mentioned, no Tish Jones. And Yvette doesn't look to be struggling at this stage, but Stella Chisang looks to be running well within itself. Now to the men's race, where things are changing slightly. Elroy Gelant, it looks like the South Africans are not happy to let the guys from the NN team dictate terms here. Every time they've tried to form a bunch at the front. First it was Stephen Mokoka, now it's Elroy Gelant getting up there and just breaking up that rhythm.
Well, Elroy Gelant Nederland is a very, very confident athlete this year. I spoke to him a couple of times. In the back of those 2 half marathons, he's got every right to be confident. He's looking to break 60 minutes for the half marathon this year. This is the platform where he's going to establish that. Guys, I'm here. I need to go and run international races. Look at me. Look at what I'm going to be doing. He's not going to be shy. He's going to be aggressive. He did it at 2 Oceans, the half marathon. And Morris Gachaga sitting right next to him. And again, that gap between the chasing bunch and the lead runners it just seems to be getting bigger.
And over 2 kilometers into the FNB Cape Town 12-1 run, these guys are out of the race. It would seem now, Alec, they are now running for their own time.
Yeah, what actually happens in a race like this is you'll start off with 30 or 40 contenders, and slowly but surely, it's almost like somebody is strangled out of the race. The oxygen sort of runs out, the blood flow. How well are your muscle capillaries and things developed? How well does the blood flow? The blood carries the oxygen. It makes the muscles efficient. And slowly but surely, the well-trained and the superior athletes will come through, and we're starting to see this with a lead pack of about 15 or 16 now.
Interesting, Mosiburi Morris taking charge here. That's very interesting to me. He didn't do that last year. He certainly did in 2017 when he smashed the course record and set that world best. But he clearly means business here.
Yeah, and talk us through where we are in the route right now, because this will be 2 kilometers gone, close to the 3 kilometer mark. Where are we now in the greater scheme of things?
Well, this is the sort of the first quarter coming to an end here, with Morris Gachaga driving it, which I really find interesting. We spoke about the women's race and how it's going to break up. That's exactly what's happening. You can see that Vet van Zyl is a South African challenger in that. I haven't seen Kesa Moletsane in that pack, but Stella Chisang driving it. A brilliant Chepchirchir. Kenya is also in there, and it almost looks like they're starting to catch some of the chasing men there.
Yeah, certainly an entertaining race, and it looks like for me the women's race is going to be quite entertaining. In the men's, it's still quite a big pretty big lead bunch of over 10 men there, and Morris Gachaga, the man we're expecting, he's leading that race as we get past 3 kilometers here, and they aim to threaten that course record of 33 minutes and 26 seconds.
Somebody we haven't mentioned a lot of, who's done a lot of track running and not a lot of road running, is Alain Maroux. He's run a 12:48 in Paris. And, fantastic runner, 27:19 over 10,000 meters. He's got the leg speed to go with this, and we can see, look at the wonderful conditions out here. You can see almost like a little bit of misty-like. Very cool for these athletes, absolutely perfect.
Interesting to see that. That's your chasing men's pack. That gap's getting really bigger. Kesa Moletsane is in no man's land. She's running on her own. She doesn't have anybody to run with her to pick up the pace. She's off the leaders. That is, Alec, that is hard. That's hard work.
I was expecting her and Tish Jones to almost form a bit of an alliance, because I think they're probably of similar form and standard at the moment. But yeah, Kesa is known to run her own race and come through strong later. She's not aggressive as a Vet van Zyl, for example, but a strong lead group there of about 6 in the women.
But look, if we have a quick glance at the women's race, the men, as you said, Mosiburi, is still a big pack. It does seem to be splitting up a little bit, but certainly on the women's race, the Vet is falling off. It is now being driven by the foreign contingent, which we expected, we spoke about early on. Stella Chisang doing all the work. I wonder if that won't bite her in the latter stages of the race.
It could do. And Dekebo from Ethiopia looking very good as well. She's a marathon athlete, comes from a marathon background. Probably not as fast over the 10K as some of these others, but 2:26 marathon in Dubai last year. She's certainly one to factor into the equation as well. But Stella Chisang certainly is perhaps the favourite here.
Yeah,
Vet's dropping off there, Mosiburi, and that's a bit worrying at this early stage in the race. We are competing at a different level right now.
Yeah, and we saw the men as well, just going through that first major turn as the women are headed to right now, and Vet van Zyl struggling to hang on to that lead bunch for the women. At a stage like this, what goes through a runner's mind when you're drifting into, you mentioned that invisible piece of string we always hear about. What happens? You stick to them, or you concede, fall back, and then come back later on in the race and try and catch it up? Is 12 kilometers enough for you to catch up?
No, there'll be no catching up. You know, somebody like a vet or some elite athlete, they're going to hang on as long as they can until it's that cotton phrase and snaps. And once it happens, you know, you're gone. And then you're fighting for your life just to keep the gap to the minimum. And just for her vets, you know, fans out there, it's an unfair contest in a sense for her, having done the Two Oceans Marathon so recently.
Yes, and here the men are. They've just gone around that turn, and they are running sub 3 minutes a kilometer as they threaten that course record. And again, still a pretty big bunch there, and a few South Africans involved.
Well, yeah, we did say earlier on that there was some surging going on. Alec quite rightly said in that first kilometre there was some surging going. There would have been surging going, so the pack breaks up a bit, they come together and so on. That happens all the time. But it does look to me like the guys from NN Running, Abdallah Mandi, John Langa, those guys, they're making sure that they're in the mix. Mokoka is running his typical race of sitting and watching, and as I mentioned earlier, Galant always on the outside.
Absolutely, and the guy in the green there, the Nedbank colours, he's from Kenya, Alfred Ngono, fantastic runner, you know, 13:22, 5,000 metres at the age of 18. He ran his, 21k, PB just recently with a 61:02 in Berlin. What was that, 5-6 weeks ago, the Berlin half marathon. So he's a bit of a contender here. Nobody really spoke too much of him, coming in under the radar via Craig Fry. But a fantastic field, a lot of fartlek going on here. Fartlek's a Swedish word for speed play. And, these athletes are surging and dropping back a bit. And this will suit the Kenyans and the cross-country runners from like the Ugandans, because that's how cross-country is run.
Yeah, and that's exactly what we're seeing here. You mentioned this, Manfred, this battle of attrition, this fartlek, these surges, these intermittent surges to try and drop athletes, and that's what we're seeing. But someone like Morris Kachaga, this should be well within his abilities. He's just run sub 60 in the half marathon, so they can throw all the surges at him and he's happy. He looks comfortable.
59:22 in February at the Rock Half Marathon. That is unbelievable, unbelievably fast. The question, of course, is the Paris Marathon still in his legs? And we asked him about it, and he did say, we'll see. So Morris Kachaga, be interesting to see how he goes. Stella Chisang is driving this. She means business. She is not sticking around. She's not waiting around. It does look as if she's chasing that 38:22 of Vivian Chariot from the inaugural race in 2015.
And she has been a fabulous athlete for those that are tuning in around the world. After winning that Commonwealth gold medal last year at the Gold Coast Games, that 10,000 meter title, she was even promoted in her job in the police service in Uganda. So really, it's been a wonderful 18 months or 2 years for Stella Chisang, and we're expecting her to win. And seems like there's been a slight injection of pace in the men's race.
This is the fartlek I'm talking about. This is where they're putting the hammer down a little bit. They really are starting to work. And strange enough, it's Morris. And I'm wondering if Morris is not preferring to make it a little bit steadier versus the stop-start thing. Because, Morris is a fantastic road runner. But there's some cross-country athletes in here who like the surges. And they probably believe the way to unsettle Morris is to throw a surge or two. And Morris is trying to keep it perhaps a little bit even. But having said that, we're guessing, because you can't put yourself in the mind of an athlete. I'm just thinking as a coach what I would be telling an athlete to try and upset Morris's rhythm. I'd be saying throw in a few surges, and Morris is trying to prevent that.
5 kilometers down in the men's race as we now look at the women's race unfolding, and the bunch is breaking up, and now just 5 athletes left in this race, with Stella Chisang leading them out. And these are some of the masses that are just here to have a fun time as the mist starts to lift slightly over the mother city this morning. The drum majorettes, which are a permanent feature here in Cape Town, and it looks like your man Alfred Ngono says he's had enough of this hanging around. He wants to push the race along a little bit.
Well, it's fantastic to see. It's a war of attrition out here. These athletes are throwing these surges, and it may not look that fast on TV, but they're probably running sub 250 per kilometer. That's 68 for a 400 meters. I dare you to go down to the run, see if you can run around a rugby field in 68 seconds. This is fast. This is sub 14 minutes for a park run, and they're doing it 2.5 times.
And there you have the course record, which they're aiming to threaten today. 33:22 by Morris Kachaga, which of course was a world best at the time. And remember that the FNB Cape Town 12-1 run, having produced fabulous times in the past 2 runs, Emmanuel Bett and Stephen Mokoka also coming within seconds of that world best. The leading women go through that tunnel, meaning that they are not quite far behind the men, and Stella Chisang looking very comfortable in front, dictating terms. She looks like she's got a gear or two left.
She does, and it'll be interesting to see how that race unfolds. But just look at this entertainment. Just imagine you're running through this. Conditions are perfect. You're coming along. You see this drumming going on. You get a pace injection. Pace injection happening right here in the men's race. They are now surging. They are looking to break this race up. We're heading towards the halfway mark. It'll be interesting to see if we can get a time split there. I really would like to see where they're at, because Morris right now is looking at making sure this break doesn't happen. He's making sure, Morris Gichaga is making sure that no one gets away from him.
Yeah, trying to cover that break, because first things first, as he mentioned when we spoke to him in that press conference, are you aiming for the record? He said, before I can think about the record, I need to make sure I win the race. So he'll be trying to cover this break as they start to split out now. Certainly, this is
the move. This is definitely the move.
Yeah.
I reckon this is the first big move. Let's put it that way. This looks like we're approaching halfway right here, and 17:27. If that is indeed halfway, that is looking pretty good, pretty ominous.
I think FNB are at the close to the halfway, but one would hope it's a little bit faster than that. But yeah, these athletes are certainly doing well. Here comes Alfred in the Nedbank back up to Morris's shoulder. Stephen's still in the mix there. What one must remember is that when you get a surge like this, it doesn't last forever. So if you can stay close by, you can see, I think it's starting to slack a little bit now. The athletes will start to bunch up again, and then somebody else will take their turn. It's almost like in the cycling peloton on the Tour de France, where somebody breaks, the bunch chase him down, somebody breaks, somebody chase him down.
14:22 through 5 kilometers. What do you think about those numbers? Where do they put us?
The course record is not going to happen. I think that's a little bit too slow. They had to be under 14 minutes, 13:50 or so. Elroy Galant now also coming back to the fore. As you said, Alec, that surge, that was an attack. They were looking to break it up. They've calmed down. They've slowed it a little bit. It's very difficult to maintain that pace, and they're bunching again.
But I think for the viewers, sometimes a race, a war of attrition, is better than watching, a course record go where somebody strips away and so forth. They're on the right-hand side, fantastic shots in the background for these athletes, great scenic views for the masses, but I can tell you, none of these 5 have time to look at that beautiful mountain. As Stella pours on the pressure, she is just driving this train, and everybody trying to hang on one of those carriages for dear life. On the left-hand side, we've got, of course, the men, Alfred going back up front. And, as I mentioned, this war of attrition, they're throwing surges. And for the viewers watching this live streaming of the FNB 12 run, it must be so exciting to see what's happening here. You've got South Africans, you've got Ethiopians, you've got Ugandans, you've got Kenyans. It's a great race unfolding right here.
Africa's finest have converged on the mother city. 14,000 runners running the FNB Cape Town 12-1 run on the streets of Cape Town this morning. This is the sharp end of the field, and as the 2 learned gentlemen next to me have just mentioned, that course record doesn't look like it will go today, but it means that we are going to see a battle royal, especially in the men's race, where a bunch of what looks like maybe still around 10 men in that main bunch, and now it's going to be a battle for that prize money. 30,000 Rand up for grabs for the first person across the line in 12 kilometers. Is this more difficult or easier than just chasing the time and hitting the time splits? Because with these intermittent surges, dropping people, sometimes it can be a little bit tougher to run.
It is definitely mind games time. If everybody's going out to chase the time and they're going for a record time, everybody's got their job. Everybody's looking at what they need to do in terms of pacing and so on. This is now pure racing, as Alec has said, and that's really, really exciting to see. We're going to see a lot more surges coming and going. We're going to see athletes trying to break, runners trying to make a break, decisive break. Morris Gichaga's in the mix. The 2 South Africans from Boxer, Stephen Mokoka and Elroy Galant, making sure that South Africa is represented, but the NN running team sort of like surrounding everybody there.
Back onto our ladies again. Look at those beautiful views in the background, and for many of the 14,000 participants, that's what they're coming here for, to run into the beautiful city of Cape Town. It's a fantastic event, this, and as I mentioned earlier, these athletes, no time for viewing. This is just time for hanging on, and Stella seems to be making a bit of a break here. Manfred, she is, really putting on the pressure, running just behind the Marion Roberts athlete over there. But fantastic running here by these athletes.
We're going to go through the men's splits as they went through 5 kilometers. But before we do that, just talk to us, Manfred, about where we are on the course right now. We see in the background Signal Hill. It means that they're running into the city. Where are they now, and what can we expect next so far as the route itself is concerned?
This is still a flat section as they head into town. This looks like there's certainly a split coming up here. 7 kilometers for the woman, 21:44, 21:45. Stella did seem to be pushing and driving it, but it seems like either she's fallen off or the others have found their rhythm and are easier able to stick with Stella Chisang. The men's pack, it has broken up. Yep. It has become smaller. That's absolutely sure. Morris very prominent, Gachaga very prominent in the front there. It's unusual to see Elroy Galan sitting in the pack. He loves to drive it from the front, Alec.
Yeah, let's see with some of those times through 5 kilometers. I see we have those splits.
Yep. Well, it was John Langat who led through in 14:21. Well, I suppose they all ran a similar time. Morris Gachaga right there, Steve Mokoko, Joel Uyeko, we've mentioned, top 10 in the world cross-country championships. Alfred Ngeno, the guy in the Nedbank vest, Yenu Anamaru, Milton Makana, Moses Koich, Abdallah Mandi, and Elroy Galan. So a fantastic field there, and looks like much of those top 10 still stuck together. They're taking the turns, the twists, and they're really piling on the pressure.
And we've seen another significant injection of pace now as they came around that bend. Again, it's the guys from the NN team that seem to be working together, but Morris Gachaga once again covering that move. And a slight injection again. It looks like they're really going for it now as we get past the 8 kilometer mark, headed towards 9.
Yeah, indeed. Abdallah Manda driving this pace. Morris Gachaga sitting on it. There's definitely a bit of a gap developing here. And Stephen Mokoko seems to have understood and realized the danger of this break here in the men's race. Monday is powering it on. Abdallah Monday is powering on this pace. Gachaga is looking pretty comfortable there. But this, to me, seems like a decisive moon, Alec.
Absolutely. I'm just going to go to the ladies quickly because we had Azamaru, Degeho, Chisang and Kip Koich at the 5 kilometer mark in 15:55. That's course record material. You go sub 16, you're getting a ladies record here today because that equals 10Ks 31:50. Means they only have to run 7.5 minutes for the final 2Ks. I mean, that is warm down material for these athletes. So I think we potentially have a record, but here's where it's all happening. Manfred, this is great. And Morris right there as well.
This is definitely the big break we've spoken about. That they've just run under the Civic Centre in the heart of Cape Town. They're going to make a left turn up Adley Street, and that's where it gets interesting. There's that little slow poison coming that they'll be hitting as they get into the company gardens. Then, of course, a very short, quick, sharp downhill, a left up Wales Street, which is a climb, and then that unbelievably fast, super fast 800 to kilometer, that last kilometer. But Mandi he means business. Abdallah Mandi is looking to break Morris Gachaga at this point.
Yeah, and for the first time in this race, Morris Gachaga, the defending champion, the 2-time winner, looking like he's having to work to stay with Abdallah Mande.
Let's also talk about the Ugandan versus the Kenyan. The mystique has gone after the World Cross Country this year. The first time in history, Uganda toppled Kenya in the World Cross Country. And, perhaps they're starting to believe. Here's Elroy, hanging around the back here.
This is the third
probably
pack.
in around about
this
7.
is the third pack by the looks of it.
Yeah, they're stringing out now. They're all stringing out into single file. And this is the business end of the FNB Cape Town 12-1 run. This is the front end, the top 2 runners, Mande and Morris Gachaga going at it. And you mentioned importantly how fast those last 2 kilometers are. So whilst doesn't look like we'll see a new course record or world best, it looks like we will have a time under 34 minutes. These guys now running for positions, running for prize money to make sure they finish in the top 10 and get some of the prize money.
We're trying to get up to closer to the front, but it looks like Stephen Mokoko might be there challenging for 3rd and 4th, just behind Mande and Gachaga. But Abdallah Mande, fantastic athlete. So let's see what he can do. He's driving it 25 minutes 50. We've probably just got just over 2Ks to go now. This is the business end you spoke about, Manfred, earlier. Take us through it.
Well, they've just gone through 9 kilometers. That was about 25:49, 25:48, and this is a little climb. You can actually see if you look down here. There's a little bit of a climb here, and it's going to flatten again. And as they head to the top of Adley Street, they're going to hit the Government Gardens and Government Avenue rather, which is a little bit of a climb, and then that right turn past the museum, right turn, a bit of a drop down, left turn up Whale Street, and that super fast last kilometer. But Mundy is driving this very, very hard. And as you said, Mosibodi, it does look like he does look a bit more comfortable now, but it does look like Morris Gachaga is working to stay here.
Yeah, and if you look behind them, this is where the positions will be sorted out as well. They spoke, all the athletes, about the importance of this little hill, sorting out the positions as we have a look at the ladies' race. And that's still the group of 5 involved in that race, with Stella Chisang running from the front, as she has been since they left, with that the whistle sent them on their way back in Milnerton almost half an hour ago.
Well, these men, Morris is really being put to the test. If he wins today, he's going to deserve that hat-trick no end, because Mani from Uganda he's really got some extra belief here. And here we've got Alfred Ngono and Simon Mokoko. Looks like they dicing for 3rd and 4th. And Stephen Mokoko, he's he knows this area well. He won the Cape Town Marathon here. Cape Town's a great venue for him. 2016 he won. Back to Our Lady, Stella Chisang still doing all the driving.
This is as they go underneath the Herengracht building and about to make that left into Adley Street. I'm impressed with Stella Chisang. She's been setting the pace the entire way. The guys are now in Government Avenue. This is the race for 3rd. Stephen Mokoka obviously now decided he needs to try and close that gap. He doesn't want to lose out again. He won here in 2016. Abdallah Mandi, he means business here at this point. They're about to make a right turn to go past the museum, and it does look as if Abdallah Mandi is consistently surging. He's always putting on the pressure here.
Yeah, significantly, as Mokoko went past there, and I saw you nodding, Alec, I think the importance of knowing the route is clearly important, because Stephen knowing how to match his efforts to the routes as he went past Ngono, who is running this FNB Cape Town 12-1 run for the first time, and the 2 men up in the front knowing the route well as well, so knowing when to match their efforts to the route.
Just to give you an indication, they have just run that 5 kilometers in under 13:50. They've gone through 10Ks in sub 28:10. The record is back on because of this injection in pace by this great Ugandan and Kenyan athlete. And you can see what it's doing to South Africa's best. He's being distanced. He's 8-9 seconds behind already. And I think Stephen's now going to concentrate on trying to get 3rd.
Yeah, it's looking like it's going to be a fast finish here. The FNB Cape Town 12-1 run. The men's leaderboard comes up, and Morris Gachaga, well, there's nothing to choose between Gachaga and Monday. Monday probably slightly getting ahead. Is this a significant little break, Manfred?
I think Abdallah Mandi is continuously surging and pushing. I don't think the gap has opened that much, but Morris Gachaga definitely, he does look comfortable, but he's got work to do. This is fast. This is a deceptive downhill. This is where we had the Puma 100-meter sprint last year, and that actually saw a massive injection of pace. And Stephen Mokoka, as he comes around into Victoria Avenue, he said at the press conference, this is where the guys, they thought was close to the finish line, and they started to sprint. Mundy just seems to be looking over his shoulder now, and I don't know if that's ominous or telltale. Gachaga is coming right back at him.
Yeah, the question here is the 2 athletes in the top 4, Stephen Mokoka and Morris Gachaga, having recently run marathons, will they have the legs for a sprint finish? Because looks like this is what it could come down to.
We're into the final mile now, the DHL mile, and here you can see Alfred and Stephen having a big duel up front for 1st and 2nd. It's a massive war out there. Alfred putting in a huge surge. Must remember, this is big prize money, 30,000 rand for 1st, 17 for 2nd. 3rd and 4th also great, but Morris moving up now on the shoulder of Mandi. He's starting to want to let the Ugandan know, I'm here, I'm the champion. Pay a little respect. The Ugandans are probably starting to threaten the Kenyans, and this is going to be become a rivalry like Kenya and Ethiopia in years gone by.
Yeah, it's probably exploding on social media where people are telling us that this is a fabulous race, the FNB Cape Town 12 ONERUN, turning out to be a fantastic race at both the men's and women's races. In the men's, not a breath of wind as they come around, just a couple of minutes to go until someone takes line honours.
Well, this is the climb. This is now we're climbing up Whale Street. This is going to be really, really interesting to see what happens in this race. Mundy was driving all the time, and there we go. He's trying to surge again. Alec, you mentioned Morris Gachaga coming back saying, listen, I'm on your shoulder. I know this. 11 kilometers, 31:07. Last kilometer. They've got about a 200 or so meter to climb here, maybe 150 meters. And Mundy is driving again. They're about to make a right-hand turn into that super fast Bree Street last 800 meters. And Gachaga has incredible leg speed.
Yeah, with that, the record is off now, I would say, Alec, with 1 kilometer to go at 31:07.
Yeah, it dropped. It got tactical there. It certainly got tactical, and that's why Stephen has closed up. These guys, perhaps they're paying for their effort, and Stephen is making a surge. We thought he was out of it. Well, I certainly did, but he's probably been very wise and held back for the hill, and starting to move back. This is I don't know if they know he's there yet.
Well, this is the last 800 meters. This is where it gets super fast. And you can see Stephen Mokoka and Gono there also chasing, coming into that last kilometer. And where is Morris Gachaga? There we go. There's the leading two. We're about to hit the Puma 100 meter speed. Are they going to even worry about that 100 meters? I can't see that happen. This is where Gachaga was always so strong. He would surge. He would push. Here it is. Here's the push. Here's the surge. Gachaga's making a move. Mundy's responding. 100 meters, Puma 100 meters. Here goes Morris Gachaga. Look at that. He is looking. Is this the finish line? Morris Gachaga means business. He's looking for his hat trick. He's got it. He's opened that gap. He is going to defend his title. This is an absolutely incredible run by Morris Gachaga. Less than 100 meters or so to go as Morris Gachaga comes down this last unbelievably fast finish area here.
And look at the back there. It was Moses Koech that came up, and we thought it was Mendy, but Stephen Mokoka is taking charge again. But right now, Morris Gachaga, the record is gone, but he knows. He's giving the salute. Is Mendy going to try and make a comeback? Morris Gachaga, he's got less than 100 meters to go towards the finish here. They've come through the Puma 100 meters, third, fourth, and fifth of the race. And Mendy looks like he's trying to come back at Morris Gachaga, who's already given the victory salute. Has he gone too early or has he got the gap? It looks like he's got the gap.
Morris Gachaga, you're not going to catch him now. He knows. He's in the front. He's already celebrating. That gap was really, really big. 33:27. Course record is gone. They've come dreadfully close, though. And look at Morris Gachaga. He knows that's victory number 3. Alec, you said it earlier on. He deserves this title. Great running, Morris Gachaga. Abdallah Mundy coming through second. Winning time 33:35 as I saw it. Abdallah Mundy coming through for second. And Stephen Mokoka will be coming through for third.
Fantastic. Alpha Ngono in fourth, and there it is. Moses, the guy who came up so fast on these guys from behind that we thought that Stephen had maybe got up to the front, but fantastic run there by Moses Koech. Stephen Mokoka doing South Africa proud to get onto the podium.
A fabulous race here, the FNB Cape Town 12 ONERUN. Morris Gachaga has just defended his title, winning it for a third run as South Africa's Elroy Gallant comes across the line. The course record didn't go, but Morris Gachaga doing well to come inside 34 minutes, and a wonderful sprint finish for a man who had just run a marathon in Paris not too long ago. What a fabulous race. He really showed himself to be a cut above the rest.
Well, the interesting thing was he just come off the Paris Marathon. He said, has my leg speed gone? The question will be answered here. Women's race is now developing really, really well. Stella Chasang always driving. She's now being challenged, Alec, and it doesn't seem as if Stella Chasang has it all her own way.
Absolutely, and I spoke to you about brilliant Kipkoech before the race, Manfred. She's a fantastic cross-country runner, and this is where it's going to suit her, these little bit of hills, the twists and turns. She won so many of the cross-country events in Kenya earlier this year and was disappointed when she didn't get to the World Championships, but still doing well. There's Tish Jones, 149, together with Kesa Molitsani in 6th and 7th behind. But now it's coming down to this fantastic finish once again between, these great athletes.
Yeah, Yvette van Zyl there, the first South African, currently lying as the first South African in 5th place, 52 seconds off this leading bunch here, as Stella Chisang looks to take control of it, but she's not having it all her own way as they go up this last little hill. They'll come around the corner, and for that Puma 100 meter, it's about 500 meter. The Bolt sprint is about 500 meters from the finish line. So when they see it, there's about 500 meters to go. It means that it's a sprint finish until the end. What do you think? These last three, who's looking good to take it?
Well, Stella Chisang looked really good in the early stages, but I think Alec Kohler, that brilliant Kipkoech, is very dangerous. Stella knows this route though. She just saw as they came around the top end, and they're now hitting down this fast finish. She knows this route. She knows this is going to be fast. She's injected her pace here. She's made a break. They're broken away now. This is the top two that is going away. There's your 3rd place lady. But this is a definitive break in the women's race. Stella Chisang is putting it on. Brilliant Kipkoech, certainly not giving up though.
Once again, Uganda and Kenya.
Could we see a course record here? Are we still on track? We've just got about 2 minutes, under 2 minutes to see as they hit the 500 meters.
Definite course record, in my opinion. Here comes the Puma sprint, and in the ladies' race, I reckon one of them could set the fastest 100 meters, and they're probably running for a little bit of a bonus here. But this is going to be tight.
It's a battle royale as they come down the Puma Bolt sprint, running into the finishing straight, and Stella Chisang just losing a little bit of that contact with the brilliant Kipkoech, and it looks like it's lengthening slightly. What was half a meter has now become 2. That 2 slowly turning into 5, and it looks like this is a significant break as she runs away from her.
Look at that turnover, that cadence that picked up by brilliant Kipkoech. Stella Chisang looks like she's going to be the bridesmaid again, Alec.
It certainly does. Commonwealth Games champion, but she's having to bow to these great athletes, and she's going to have to keep herself focused. Because those girls, although it does fall short on the camera angle, those girls come up 3rd and 4th. The gap's quite wide, but Brilliant absolutely tearing away here. And look at that time, 37.42, and the course record, 38.22, I think it is. This could be going. This record is certainly on the cards here by the great Kenyan.
Sub 38 minutes. Could she get it? No, she won't, but it'll be under 38.10. A new course record. Brilliant Kipkoech shatters the course record and claims the FNB Cape Town 12-1 run. What a race by the Kenyan. Woo-wee!
Phew. That was incredible. I don't think any of us saw that fast a time in the women's race. It just seemed like it was a race of attrition early on, and we didn't really pay attention much to the time, Alec, until you turned around and said it halfway, hang on, this is on. But that was a huge improvement. That was significant.
Spare a thought for Stella Chisang, the bridesmaid yet again, but she gets in under the course record of last year. And it's not enough to win the race. What a fabulous women's race.
Yeah, that time is not going to make her happy. The fact is she lost the win, she lost the prize money, she lost the course record. Not that she had the course record, but she was looking for it. Yeah. And this is an absolutely fantastic run by Brilliant. Fantastic runner, prolific cross-country runner. She's run 31.41 in New Orleans. She's run a 51.40 in Tulsa in America. She's plied her trade on the US road circuit. It's tough over there. She's done well.
And that's the first South African across the line, Yvette van Zyl, just around 39 minutes. She's headed towards the finish line and looks like she'll almost match her time previously where she ran a 39.40. She'll be inside that.
Well inside that, 39.20, so a personal best on this course. You can't ask for more from an athlete than to do their best. And Alec, to me that's quite impressive. Yes, she's been struggling a little bit after 2 Oceans. You mentioned how aggressive she was at the Spa Ladies race. She's not as... Yvette van Zyl loves to attack. This is what I love about her. She's not scared to take it on.
She finished probably 70 seconds off the win. I mean, it's a phenomenal effort. Bear in mind how much racing she's done. And, when I talk about how much racing, I'm talking about a 56 kilometer, which included Oud Kaapstad, which I think played to her chances in the two oceans. If it had come over Chapman's Peak, it would have been a lot easier for her. The muscle breakdown, the recovery, all of these have a knock-on effect. But this is a fantastic athlete. She can get a lot closer.
And there's Tish Jones just completing her race after that wonderful run at the London Marathon. She did question her leg speed after running that 2:31 in London. She'll finish just outside 40 minutes. If you're just waking up and tuning in from somewhere around the world, it's the FNB Cape Town 12-1 run, and we can tell you that Morris Kachaga has defended his title, winning a third FNB Cape Town 12-1 run outside the course record, but a fabulous run, a sprint finish to beat Abdullah Mbande and Stephen Mukoka there of South Africa running in for that third place. Those were the top three men. And in the ladies, Brilliant Kipkoech has just won it ahead of Stella Chisang.
Kesa Malatsani just coming over the line in about 40 and 40 seconds. Great run by her from Marianne Roberts. You know, she's consistently there, but she needs to find that extra step.
Yeah.
And you know, hopefully races like this. And there's Fortunate Chidzivo, local athlete, well, a Zimbabwean athlete based locally. Coached by Chris Brewer, who's you know, put on many great meets at Stellenbosch over the years.
Yeah, and we see some of those age category runners coming through now, local runners.
Sean Abrams, former SA 800 meter champion, coming in there, one of the top you know, age group athletes down here. And there's Lebo Palula, the famous Palula twins. What great athletes these have been, and they've been around for so long, almost 20 years now. They've been dominating from 800 meters to the marathon.
Yeah, starting out at the Wanderers Athletic Club many years ago under the watchful eye of the legendary Tate Matthews Mutsarateu back then. And as we see some of the runners making it across the finish line, the top 5 ladies there coming across the line, it really was a wonderful women's race in particular.
It was absolutely incredible. I take my hat off to any athlete who turns around and says, you know what, I'm going to challenge the course record. We saw it at Two Oceans as well. We're going to challenge the course record. And this is important for running. If you challenge the course record, it's going to eventually go. Look at what Kipchoge did. He says, I'm going to break 2. He hasn't done it yet. But by doing that, he's raised the level of marathon running. We saw it in London. Everything, there's a knock-on effect. So when you challenge the record, when you challenge those times, everybody lifts their game. And we saw it here again today with Yvette van Zyl, a great run. Stephen Mokoka coming in with a really good performance too.
Yeah, I think I saw Zinewe in picture.
That's it.
So some fantastic runners still coming in here. These are great times by these athletes. But you mentioned Eliud Kipchoge, and not only is he pushing the barriers in terms of time, but he's raised awareness for the sport of road running and marathoning around the world. People who never used to even bother about road running are now tuning in to break 2 and things like this. And this is what's great. And was that Lebogang who was coming across as well? Zintle Zinewe just having come through. Here comes Lebogang Palula, the second of the twins.
Yeah, she's just coming across the finish line there. You mentioned Zinewe as well. She's also coming across the line.
Interesting, Alec. You raised how Alec Kipchoge is raising the platform of road running. This series is doing exactly that for South African road running by introducing all these international athletes, by challenging the norm, challenging the times, getting our athletes to improve. And the knock-on effect is incredible. It's not just the people in the front, but everybody gets dragged along.
Absolutely. People looking for personal best. Are they going to break 50 minutes? Are they going to break 45? Are they going to break 60? Everybody's got a target. These new medals they're giving out, the Morris Kachaga medals for the first 100 finishers. That's a significant motivation for those people who are trying to, run close to 40 or just over. And then for those people who are trying to break an hour, they, instead of now aiming for a 59 something, they're aiming for 57 because there's 500 silver medals. And here we got the fantastic times of the finishers. You want to take us through those?
Yeah, let's just go through those one more time. Morris Kachaga winning it just 10 seconds outside the course record, just over 10 seconds. This was a race between 2 men ultimately for the last few kilometers.
Well, Abdallah Mbande taking the race by the scruff of the neck just after halfway, really pushing and really driving it. Morris Kachaga not giving up. Fantastic run by Stephen Mokoka. He just is such an unbelievable representative for South Africa, as is Elroy Galant. Again, top 10. Really good performances by the South Africans. Morris Kachaga, hat-trick of win. You just cannot take it away from him.
Also, look at number 10, Milton Kakana. I mean, you know, the time might be a little bit off there, but he's just won himself 2,000 Rand for coming in the back end of the top 10. And that's a massive step up for Kakana.
Yeah, and as you say, the recognition of being in the same top 10 alongside such names as Kachaga, Mande Mukoka, Koech, and others, a fabulous, fabulous performance for the young man.
Ayeko, 8th there, 10th in the World Cross Country Championships. It shows the standard of this race. And as the San Francisco Chronicle says, their Bay to Break is a direct route to the city's heart and soul. And FNB Cape Town 12-1 run is also a route to the city's heart and soul. And here we got our champion athletes.
Top 3 ladies, all under the previous course record. How fast was that? All set up by Stella Chesang. Yes, she's the bridesmaid, but you got to take your hat off to her for actually going out and saying, I'm going to smash her.
And look at that leaderboard. Uganda, Kenya, Ethiopia, South Africa, all in the top 5.
Yes, all of Africa's children here in Cape Town this morning, celebrating a wonderful day of running at the FNB Cape Town 12-1 run at the mother city where the mountain meets the sea. And now some other runners coming across the line as we spot 1 or 2 runners.
So Cherise Sims coming in there, you know, former South African runner and university runner, you know, fantastic athlete.
Sim's about to get married next week. She'll be changing her name.
That'll puzzle us a little bit.
She did say to me a couple of days before the race, this is my last race as Sims.
Oh,
my word.
Congratulations to her in advance, and well done as more runners come in. Varsity All Boys, a big club in this part of the world.
Bilal Wasamai coming in there as well. Also, you know, these are still great times. 46:32, 48 minutes is 4 minutes a kilometre. You know, to run 4 minutes a kilometre, you've got to be really fit. And we're not talking about the elite. It is hard.
Yeah, exactly. And we're seeing some of those category age groups. Just spotted Zongamela Kubeni there, winner of some marathons up country that we've seen there in the Highveld, winner of 1 or 2 42-kilometer races. As some of the club runners, age group participants come across the line. And good to see some men and women like Tobias there, over 55 years old and running, as you say, Alec, at 4 minutes a K is no mean feat. Runners standing by to enjoy and chat about the race that was.
Yeah, the finish in the heart of the city here, Bree Street. And you look at these athletes, I mean, they're in pristine condition. They have just run 12 kilometers all the way from Milnerton here to Bree Street in the center of Cape Town at sub 4 minutes a kilometer. And literally within seconds, they're having conversations as they cross the line.
It's the FNB Cape Town 12-1 run, and there's Morris Kachaga. He's our champion today. He won it for a 3rd time, just 11 seconds outside the course record, which is a world best that he set. He won it again, the battle of attrition against Abdullah Mande, as Kenya and Uganda went at it. And the 2 champions, the Kenyans, Morris Kachaga and brilliant Kip Koech, shattering the ladies' course record and winning it in 38:11. Both first 3 ladies, in fact, all under the previous course record. She beat brilliant Kip Koech, Stella Chesang into 2nd place there. And it was a wonderful, wonderful women's race in particular.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic. And the Kenyans, smarting from that defeat at the World Cross Country Championships, have come back and laid down the law here to their Ugandan counterparts who were relegated to the runner-up or bridesmaid position. But the Kenyans coming through, one with a hat-trick and the other with a course record. What fantastic running.
We'll hear from our champions in just a couple of minutes' time. So if you're just tuning in, stay tuned, because we'll hear from the champions. We've got our presenters out and about on the route, and we've also got some of our champions. We'll hear from them in a little bit, but let's just enjoy these visuals as more runners come across the finish line. And there's a day of festivities planned here at the FNB Cape Town 12-1 run. As you look at all those different partners, all those different sponsors, they are all contributing something. You mentioned the DHL mile, Alec. That's something that will be enjoyed. There is the Puma 100-meter ball sprint. FNB have their activation around halfway, so lots of festivities are along the route and lots to enjoy as runners now finish the race, mill about, have something to drink and talk about what a wonderful day it was out on the roads of Cape Town.
Absolutely. And, you know, at the moment we're seeing, you know, many of the club runners from Langa, from Belleville, from
Strands,
Cooks.
yeah.
They're all coming through, and later on we're going to see more and more of these blue FNB Puma t-shirts, the official race t-shirt, because the people who don't belong to the clubs generally like to run in the race t-shirt. It does, help promote the race, give the event, some good exposure. Saw Vicky van der Merwe come across just a moment ago. She, of course, one of South Africa's top triathletes of yesteryear. Great all-round athlete. Does a fantastic job there in Stellenbosch with the Stellenbosch Triathlon Squad. I think she's got about 100 athletes that she's supporting and coaching, coached by Ernie Grun herself. Top coach. Ernie Grun, of course, used to coach Ilana Meyer, coaches the likes of Jenna Challenor and a whole host of other top athletes as well.
And as we see more of the club runners coming across the line from different clubs, including Fat Cats, they're from upcountry. Manfred Seidler's got our winner, Morris Kachaga, down by the finish. And let's hear from him about winning a third FNB Cape Town 12-1 run.
Morris, congratulations, a hat-trick of wins. You're wearing this medal, the Morris Kachaga medal. How proud are you right now?
I'm so proud for the medal and for winning that is twice.
So, third time, you did say Paris Marathon maybe in the legs, but that kick, you had it.
Yes, today the kick was so tough. Monday was close to me, so I was to feel like winning, like cruising. So I was, but I was to celebrate. But if you're coming from around the 7 kilometers, you understand something was happening to my kids. So my kid was somehow stopping. So I was to push for the Monday not to go.
You said you have to win first. We worry about the course record later. It's turned into a tactical race very early on. Did that suit you? Were you happy with that?
Yes, I'm happy for that. Yeah.
So looking ahead after this race, obviously feet up a bit. What are we looking forward to next?
Now I'm going to first to relax and go to family and say hi, relax with them 2 weeks. Then I have at least at the end of next month, where I will go and run in Kenya and give my club the points.
Morris, will we see you back here in Cape Town? It's 3. Are you going to make it 4?
Yes, I will.
Thanks for coming, Morris. Great chatting to you always. Well done on your win. There's that medal, the Morris Kachaga medal. Fantastic stuff. Great stuff. Thanks, Morris. Good to see you again.
Lovely to see the sprinting there.
So that was our champion, our 2019 FNB Cape Town 12-1 run champion, Morris Kachaga. The man who did the jig when he won last year, and he has more reason to dance in 2019 after making it a hat trick of titles here in Cape Town. We'll hear from our ladies champion in just a little bit as we first watch more of our runners coming across the finish line. Lots of different runners from different clubs, Nedbank, and that race t-shirt that you mentioned, Alec, was now starting to see more and more of it, because the runners that can finish in under 50 minutes or under 40 minutes are usually still quite serious runners, and they usually belong to the clubs, and more of the masses who are here to enjoy the race, they are the ones who like to wear that t-shirt, as we see some of the cheerleaders in Adderley Street just urging the runners on.
Yeah, it's a great vibe at very many of these, city runs. I once had the privilege of running the New York City Marathon, and every mile they have a live band. There's always something activated, and you always see, the cheerleaders cheering the runners on, and I'm sure the runners are going to be enjoying going past there. 53.5 minutes on the clock as the athletes are coming through here. And these are still finely tuned athletes.
Exactly, and as you mentioned, finely tuned, I saw 2 that were having a little race, a little dice as they call it, coming across the finish line. It's like, I'm finishing number 200 and something, but I'm not going to let you finish ahead of me. Remember that the first 100 medals are the Morris Kachaga medals, and others are the silver medals to 500, the next 500, and then everyone else gets bronze as they're enjoying the FNB Cape Town 12-1 run. They're coming down Adderley Street, some of the runners just enjoying themselves, enjoying the day, plodding along, and they'll be soon headed towards the finish as we get to about an hour. These athletes looking to finish in about 1 hour, 10 minutes or so, and they have had a decent effort out here on the streets of Cape Town.
And also an interesting stat here. You know, there were more females than males lined up at the start today. That is quite significant, but it happens in a lot of the events, you know, around the country, and we've seen some brilliant running in the female race today with a course record. Stella Chisang, you know, really driving the train early on. Brilliant. Kipkoech just sort of hovering in the background there, and she came through over those final 2 kilometers over the hillier sections of the race. A fantastic result by Brilliant. Let's go hear from her and Manfred.
Brilliant run here by Brilliant Kipkoech. Fantastic effort. How are you feeling right now?
I'm feeling very excited because I win this race. I was position 1. And I'm very excited.
The last kilometer is very fast. Was a climb beforehand, and Decisive went again. Were you worried?
We were for them until the 11 kilometer. When I decided to move to increase the pace, then I see my body is responding. Then I move the last 1 kilometer, 500 meters.
How fast was that last 500 meters? It looked very fast.
Yeah, it was very fast because we were 3 of them. Chasing everyone. Everyone was chasing and everybody. Yeah.
Brilliant. From here, what's your next race?
My next race, I don't know.
Relax now, enjoy the win.
Yeah, I'm going back to training, waiting for another race as soon as early as next month. Yeah, I know.
It was great to watch you run. It was great to commentate on your race. Thanks for coming out. We hope to see you again next year, and hope for you to you broke the course record. Are you by a long way? Did you know about the course record?
No, I was not aware about the course record.
So we hope to see you again next year, and then maybe go under 38 minutes.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, I can.
Thank you very much, Brilliant, and good luck for the future.
Okay, thank you.
So thank you so much, and congratulations again to Brilliant Kipkoech. What a magnificent run, shattering the course record and beating Stella Chisang into second.
And I must take a pause here just to welcome my daughter. She ran about 57 or just under. What a fantastic effort by her and Pierre Sillier. So they did fantastically well. They'll be very pleased. They'll think Dad's a good coach now. And you know, just talking of, you know, seeing a few people, I saw Ben Delaporte, you know, the South African junior triathlon champion from last year. You know, he ran 38:25, almost caught the leading lady from batch B. So he had a fantastic run indeed. Well done to him.
Yeah, and as we're seeing some more of the runners coming across the line and noticing some of the clubs here, we see Celtic Harriers, which is a long-standing club in this part of the world, coming across the line, shaking hands, and people loving it. And also, we didn't think we'd see much of it in a smaller race like this, a shorter distance, I beg your pardon. But we see some pacemakers. I saw a guy running with a flag who's just come across the finish line, and he's trying to help people achieve their personal goals to run under 55 minutes or under an hour for this race. And they were all high-fiving each other because they clearly reached their time goal, as we see some of the runners enjoying running up Adderley Street.
Now, you talk about needing lungs to run. Now you need lungs to blow those instruments. You know, I used to try and blow the bugle in the cadet band at school. I wasn't very good at that, and I had to move to the side drums. Didn't quite have the lung capacity.
Yeah, exactly. And this is the hallmark of Cape Town. Whenever there is any festivities, anything to celebrate in this city, you will hear the sounds of the brass band, or whenever it's the Cape Carnival or the drummers. It really is something that is very, very particular to this part of the world as we celebrate the city, as we celebrate running in Cape Town. It's as part of running our city is the FNB Run Your City series.
Yeah, those drums bring back memories, but we're moving on to the 59th or the 60th minute. We got 48 seconds to go to sub an hour. It'll be interesting to see. This is a big target for some of these athletes. Can they break an hour it's 5 minutes per kilometer, and these are athletes who are trying to chase that down. 5 minutes per kilometer. If you can say I average 4:59, I broke an hour, it's significantly better than doing a 5:01.
Yeah, exactly. It's a big difference, and many will have been training for this. Many, such as Stefan Klaassen, who is here. He's part of the FNB crew, is FNB Cape Town, and he was with us at the press conference on Friday. He said that his time goal is to try and get somewhere around that hour, and hopefully he'll be in here by 60 minutes.
And then I told him about the silver medals, and you need to rank close to 57, and he raised his eyebrows. But you know what? For a corporate guy to be running 5 minutes a kilometer, you got to take your hat off to him. I mean, these are high-pressure jobs, that people like Stefan have got. Grant from Puma also running. I'm not sure what his time will be. I believe one of the execs from DHL is also running. So nice to have the sponsor involvement as well. And Stefan mentioned at the press conference that over 2,000 of the entries are from businesses. And that is what they're hoping for, is to see the business involvement, getting the employees involved in the event. And just while we're on stats, the biggest age group category is 20 to 39 female, 4,229. So just short of a third of the participants are young females, and that is quite amazing. And of course that attracts the young males because there's 3,722 of them. So who knows what goes on behind the scenes or after the race here when you're having your little refreshment and maybe going for a cup of coffee and a breakfast.
Exactly, and it speaks about the change that we've seen, the growth in running, especially young women, more and more getting out there, getting active, and that's split you mentioned, those numbers you mentioned, really reflective of a new refreshment and new enthusiasm in running around the world in general, as we see more people embracing health and lifestyle, because for many this is just about, as you say, social, but it's part of their own routines of trying to stay healthy, trying to stay active, and just enjoy a healthy and active life. And there's no better place than Cape Town to do that, with the great weather we have here, the mountain, and all the different activities we have in the city. Running is one important part of that bouquet.
I think it also helps the mindset. If you are participating on a regular basis in some form of exercise, generally what happens is you are a little bit more focused. Also, you generally mix with more positively minded people, which helps as well. It's also good for the health, weight loss, and so forth. So much good can come from getting out, participating in events like the FNB Run Your City series. Of course, let's not forget, there's one of these in Johannesburg later in the year, and then of course the one in Durban, I think around about September, October, the two events, and great mass participation events. It's not just about the elite athletes, so it's about getting those numbers. So when the entries open up, bear in mind all of these events do get sold out. You've got to get on, you've got to enter as soon as you can, because I think there's over 40,000 people participating in these three events.
It's really magnificent. Yeah, magnificent numbers. And to make sure that you don't miss out, use the hashtag FNB Run Your City. And as we see the multitudes there, the 14,000 runners making their way through the streets of Cape Town, interestingly, if you look at their feet, you won't see any plastic. And usually races that are this big, we see lots of plastic at the feet of the runners as they discard their refreshments. But there's this big Run Clean campaign that forms part of the FNB Cape Town 12-1 run, and we're seeing the fruits.
That'll certainly make Sean Falconer very happy, from Modern Athlete. He's one of the big drivers here in the Western Cape, and he's not the only one. There's many of them, and we salute them for what they're trying to do for the environment and trying to, keep the environment clean and so forth. And while events like this will, in the past, have given out plastic sachets, they would have clean-up teams. So that's not the danger. The danger comes when you get a strong wind, because that plastic does tend to get liftoff and perhaps end up in the ocean and so forth. And that is why there's such a big drive to move away from plastic for that reason, as well as environmental issues. And we applaud FNB and Stillwater Sports on what they're trying to do, by trying to clean up the event like this.
And we can let you know that you can enter the next race, as Alex mentioned. It's coming up in September. It's the FNB Joburg 10K run. And you can use the hashtag FNB Run Your City. And those will be up on screen throughout the broadcasts to make sure that for the Johannesburg leg, the Joburg leg, You can enter now. Use the hashtag FNB Run Your City for more, and those details will be coming out throughout our broadcast. Good morning once again, and thank you so much for tuning in from around the world. Good morning, Goeiemorgen, Wamkelekile Kapa. Jumbo from around the world as Africa's children converge on Cape Town for the Cape Town 12 One Run. This FNB Cape Town 12 One Run was won by Morris Kachaga just a short while ago. He won his third title as this beautiful city of Cape Town welcomed us. Morris Kachaga defending his title 11 seconds outside the course record. And the ladies race won by Brilliant Kipkoech. Those are the races that are coming up. If you missed the FNB Cape Town 12 One Run, on the 24th of September is the FNB 10K City Run. That's up in Joburg. Entries open. And on the 13th of October, the FNB Durban 10K City Surf Run. And you can make sure that you go there. Those three races form part of the FNB Run Your City series. We mentioned that Morris Kachaga won the men's race. Abdullah Dambe coming second there, and Stephen Mokoka, the first South African, I beg your pardon, was third. Manfred Seidler is catching up with him at the finish.
And the kid?
Stephen, congratulations, third place, first South African. It looked like a fast start, and then you kind of guys slow down in the first 5K, but the second 5 kilometers was really fast.
Yeah, I mean, we started very quick. I think somewhere around 247, 246, 245, and then it went slow because we had a little bit of wind. I think the guys were scared of the wind, and then when we turned into the other side because we had a little bit of shade, that's when the guys started to push him. But the first half was relatively slow, but the second half was very, very fast.
Did you feel that even though Abdallah Mandi and Morris Kachaga, they went at just after halfway, did you feel that you could still catch them?
I mean, I couldn't go with the first move. I think if I did manage to go with the first move, but my leg turnover was not good. I think I was running more or less at the same pace behind, but that turnover that they did, if I did go with it, I think I could have run faster, maybe. I don't know what position, but could have run faster. But the tough thing was to go with them in the first place.
You always say that these races are very important for South African road running development. You and Elroy both in the top 10. A lot of the guys coming through later. Where we bring out Morris is coming, he wins his hat-trick. How important is this for South African road running? How important is it for you guys to be able to do this here?
I think it's a good thing because I mean the guys who came here are like recently now they ran like a 27 minutes all of them, and then South Africans, if they get exposed to such races, I mean it's good, especially if their race was quicker maybe in the first half, so that they can get used to this fast hard races. Because in South Africa what we do is we do a fast let and we drop the pace, but with these guys they do a hard pace and then they do a fast let and they maintain the hard pace. So I think that's what we still lack. But the more they get exposed to it, because me and Norway were used to it because we do go overseas. So I think if the more they get used to it, the more we're gonna get strong guys later in their careers.
We spoke at the press conference on Thursday. We spoke on Friday. Course record. You'd have to go through 10 kilometers in 27:50. Were you guys talking about it beforehand, or was it we're getting onto the start line, we're going to see how the race unfolds?
I mean, I think everyone wanted to run fast, and then that's the wind that we got like when we started after we went the bridge. I think that's what stopped us. I think if we did try to push even against the wind, we could have run faster. But I mean, it's not a matter of us talking. It's just a matter of me when I sit and do my calculation. I could see like the course record can be under 30 if you can go under 28 minutes actually. But anyway, we ran. I mean, like maybe the fifth fastest time ever in this course, the winner. So I think it's an okay time.
You spoke about the Puma sprint session last year that you thought, hey, hang on, are we here at the finish already? That guy, you guys obviously didn't think about it this year.
No, I didn't think. I was thinking about it at some point, but I mean, when you're chasing, you forget about all those things. The only thing that you think about is more of going to the finish line so that you can try to finish as strong as you can. So I can say the moment the guys pulled away from me, the only thing I was thinking, if I can be able to run at 33 minutes, I'll be happy. So I'm happy about that.
Stephen, you've had some really good races already this year. You've come third in the marathon. You ran really well at Two Oceans. Here again, is it time to put the feet up a little bit, or are you looking for another race?
I mean, I have to break up the case. All my races, I ran 3 races this season. This is the 5th month now. I've never won a race. I've never finished second. All the time I finished third. So I have to find a race where I can break the curse. I don't know where is that, but I hope I can be able to run faster and then finish at the top podium, because I mean you can't run 3 races and finish that all of them. So it's I have to break that.
Stephen, great to have you in Cape Town as always. It's great to see your race and congratulations, and look forward to seeing you again here next year.
No, thank you very much.
And there are the runners coming across the line. Stephen Mokoka, what a beautiful, beautiful run to finish third, and some of those wonderful faces just coming across the line as this weather has been absolutely perfect for running. Stephen Mokoka showing his versatility there, an athlete with national titles from 1500 meters to the marathon, and coming back from running the Lake Biwa Marathon in 2:07, he's been able to finish third here at the FNB Cape Town 12 run, finishing there inside 34 minutes as Morris Kachaga won the race. So these are some of the runners that are running for their own personal goals, coming across the line in 1 hour and 10 minutes, and these are those that will be in the 1 hour and hour and a half, coming past the KFM activation, where we have the very typically Cape Town encouragement across on the side of the road, just clapping the runners on. You're looking at some numbers there.
Yeah, you were mentioning some, former track athlete Sean Abrams, former SA 800 meter champion, 41, 48, and 47th overall, third veteran. So some great running, and earlier I mentioned it's a giant wave of fun and excitement, athleticism, and we can see it more and more as the masses come. We spoke about a giant wave. Well, it's more like a tsunami now as they start to come towards the finish. Literally, I would think that we've probably got 100 people finishing every 30 seconds, maybe even faster. And as we get closer to the cutoff time, it just gets more and more congested. It's almost like everybody's watched the final 10 minutes of the Comrades Marathon, the emotion as those masses come screaming into the finish line. And here we see, and you can just see how much fun it is. Nobody's in distress.
Yeah.
Nobody's angry. Nobody's tense. There's no anxiety. This is a great sport for many because they can have fun, they can relax, they can get fit, they can smile, laugh, and everybody is so relaxed.
And exactly, everyone is relaxed and enjoying themselves. There's some of the music, the DJ in the background, and some of the wonderful fancy dress along the route and the encouragement. This is what it's all about.
Let's not forget the role of KFM, in building up this event to 14,000 participants. It's doubled in 5 years, so absolutely fantastic. And here we go to the Puma Bolt Sprint, obviously playing on the words of Usain Bolt, I think it was an 8-time Olympic champion, if I'm not mistaken. There's somebody going for the time. And and a couple more. They are really going for it flat out down there. Every single athlete gets timed on that 100-meter sprint, and the winner will take away 10,000 rands worth of Puma kit.
10,000 rand worth of Puma kit, and a lot of people are going for that, some even taking a break before they get there. They say their finishing time is not important. They want that 10,000 rand worth of Puma kit. Of course, Puma, a proud partner of the FNB Cape Town 12 run, as we see many of the athletes coming across towards the end in their Puma FNB running shirts, some with the music in the air and looking at their watches. The personal time is important. And lots of people having fun there. I see all the phones are out for the selfies. The family take photos of mom or dad or brother or sister as they come across the finish line. Using the hashtag FNB Run Your City is where you can find all of that information and all those wonderful photos of this great race.
More action from the KFM team, and gee, they've got the vibe going there, haven't they? Look at this, absolutely fantastic. They're having as good a time as the runners are, that's for sure, showing as much energy. And just got to thank, I've heard a lot of the build-up on KFM, and they've done a good job in helping promote this wonderful event. The FNB Run Your City series is taking South Africa by storm. The vision of Michael Mayer of Stillwater Sports. Of course, Michael traveled to many of the great races in the world as an athlete coach and manager back in the day. I remember seeing him at the Boston Marathon. He would have brought these ideas back to South Africa. He's so passionate about athletics, about road running, and he is doing so much for the sport, and we've got to thank him and be grateful to his company, Stillwater Sports, on all they've done to try and elevate our sport.
And of course, Stillwater Sports will be putting on 2 more of these races. If you're watching this race, the FNB Cape Town 12 one run, and thinking that you want to be part of it, then make sure that you use the hashtag FNB Run Your City for the Joburg 10K happening in September and the Durban 10K happening in October. Let's hear from the first South African lady finisher, Yvette van Zyl. She's at the finish with Manfred Seidler.
Third here, you broke your personal best. How was it out there?
It was quite a tough day today for me. At 3K, I didn't feel that great. I don't know, I'm still getting my legs back after Oceans and just getting my mindset right on the shorter things again. So I think I'm quite impressed with my performance today. I think I can't actually expect more from my body. So I think overall today was good in the circumstances that I didn't feel so great, so I'm happy.
In the early stages of the race, you were sitting with them. You really looked good. Where did the wheels come? Where did you start feeling? Hang on, this is actually a bit hard for me.
At 3K, I didn't just started feeling really bad. I had a bit of nausea and just felt a bit off. So leading up to it, I was a bit sick and. Yeah, so I don't know, it just didn't feel great today, like from the start actually in warm-up as well. So actually in the week on Tuesday, I wasn't sure if I should come and run or not, but I committed, so I had to come. So yeah, it was a bit of catch-22 if I want to drop out or just finish, but I've learned of Oceans I'm tougher than I really think I am. So I knew from the start I had to just finish the race, and it's a good tempo. So yeah, it's just trying to get my legs back and trying to be the best that I can be again. So yeah, I think I'm okay for now.
You said you had a bad race, but you ran your fastest time on this course. What happens if you're in good shape and you hit this route?
Yes, I hope I can catch it one time. Maybe I can be more competitive then, because I didn't feel so competitive today. I was really running on my own the whole way, so that wasn't good. So I really wanted to be competitive in this race, but I knew coming into the race it was a long shot, so I knew I'm going to run on my own. So hopefully one time I can come to the race and be my best, so that's the goal. But yeah, I ran it last in 2016, so that's when I ran my previous best, so and then I missed 2 years, and yeah, I was a bit pregnant last year, but yeah, happy to be back healthy and just be here to run the race and be part of the vibe.
You really ran quite a few races this year. We're in May. Is it time to put the feet up a bit?
Not yet. The season has actually just started. That's why I was a bit selective over the races, but now I'm just trying to get the short races in to get me faster, because that's how I get faster. Is I need a few races to get the motor started, because I'm a bit older now, so the more races I do and the shorter distances, the better I can get. So yeah, today was just a step ahead of getting my legs back and my speed back. So yeah, Spa Ladies is still ahead, and another FNB race. So yeah, just trying to be the best I can be right now.
Well done, Yvette. Good to see you. First South African, third overall. Hope to see you back next year.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much and congratulations to Yvette van Zyl for finishing in the top 10 as the first South African woman. Clearly this race took a lot out of her, but an incredibly versatile athlete, running 12 kilometers in under 40 minutes today, but also having showed some success in the marathon as well on challenging courses. Really, she is incredibly versatile from the short distances right up until the top, and also having run 56 kilometers recently. So she really is a talented athlete, and well done to her. Well done, of course, to Brilliant Kipkoech for winning the ladies race in a new course record, beating Stella Chesang into second place. A fabulous ladies race. They are the masses coming across the finish line, sprinting across the Puma bolt of speed, and coming down the hill to the finishing straights. They're enjoying themselves, aren't they?
Yeah, and they're still running strong. You know, we've got 78 minutes on the clock, so we're now into the close to 7 minutes a kilometer, but they are really having a fun time here. A little bit cool once you finish, but for running, absolutely perfect. I just want to take us through, how it works at the start. All the contenders get seated. They're in the A batch, and they start at 8:59. Then 9 o'clock is the B batch. This is where the masses start. So I just want to go through a couple of those results. It seems like Mishak Sitoli 35.46 was probably the first of the B-Batch runners, followed by Pilani Buthelezi, and then well-known social media guy Adam Lipschitz, 36.17. He was right up there as well. Benedict Moeng, and these are well-known names in running circles. You know, I mentioned earlier Ben de la Porte. He was just outside the top 10 of the B bunch in 38 and some change. So yeah, some good names coming through there, and they'll be hoping to get into the contender program. And you know, sometimes it's important for athletes to understand how it works. You apply to be part of the contender program. I think it has to be within 4 weeks. Then you qualify, obviously, for the A-batch seeding and the prizes, and so forth. But some great prizes here. We saw earlier that Steve Mokoko was being interviewed. He won 13,000 rand, just short of $1,000 today. So that'll certainly help. You know, the family will be having a nice celebration this weekend, no doubt. He doesn't have to fly all the way back from America or Europe, as he said at the press conference. He loves racing in his backyard. Flew down Thursday at the press conference, and yeah, fantastic ambassador for us.
Exactly, and Morris Kachaga, the winner, of course, will take 30,000 rand and 17,000 rand for the second placed athlete, and that prize money is equal for men and women, so it will be the same for the ladies. The top 10 athletes all earning some prize money there, and many of these athletes that are coming across the line now, these will be athletes that will be earning a bronze medal. It was the Morris Kachaga medal for the first 100. The second batch of athletes, the next 500 would earn the silver medal, and then these athletes that are finishing now, that young man with the tutu there, with the tutu, will earn a bronze medal. And there is the signal, 200 meters to the start of the ball sprint. Prepare yourself, take a deep breath, and try and win 10,000 rand with a Puma kit.
This is where you get your roadside chair. You have a seat like you mentioned earlier. Park off for 5-10 minutes, get your breath back, get into the starting blocks and go. Or maybe take a running start, you'll go even faster. But it'll be interesting to see what is the fastest sprint time today. And you know, we'll try and bring that to our viewers later and find out who are close to the magical 10 seconds. And talking about the magical 10 seconds, Akani Simbini opened up his season, his international season last night with a 9.95. Fantastic runner Akani Simbini has become in the sprints, and you know, we've got some fantastic sprinters in this country.
Yeah, some really fantastic sprinters, some really great athletes coming out of South Africa and coming out of the African continent as we celebrate running in its birthplace where humankind first started to run all those millennia ago. The FNB Cape Town 12-1 run continues 1 hour and 21 minutes into this 12-kilometer race. Remember that this is just one run. No 5-kilometer fun run, no extended difference. It's just one 12-kilometer run through the streets of the mother city, starting in Milnerton and finishing here in Breer Street in the Cape Town CBD, adjacent to the FNB building. So it is going to be a fabulous day of festivities, and as the athletes are coming across the finish line, pouring across the finish line, there are lots of different club tents set up. I see people grabbing something to drink, something to eat, lots of Coca-Cola to drink, so it really is just about enjoying themselves after the finish.
Yeah, absolutely. And for those who are watching this fantastic live streaming, thanks to Vince and his team for bringing this to the audience who want to watch, either the elite runners, their family members, work colleagues. You'll see weekend warriors and walkers alike, but great festive atmosphere here at the finish in Breer Street. And a short while ago we had Manfred down at the just beyond the finish line talking to some of the elite athletes, interviewing them. Those watching and will have heard what he had to say, but sometimes when you're interviewing athletes you pick up a few gems of information in between the interviews to people who've crossed the line. Manfred, perhaps you can share some ideas on what you heard off air from the likes of Stephen and co.
Welcome home. Here comes the fourth pram. Prams are coming in.
Go with the guys, but as you heard in the interview, but he's really, really keen. He wants to win this race. He loves running here in South Africa, and he really, really enjoys, coming here in particular to the FNB Run Your City series, and he thinks it's really, really important.
Let's talk a little bit about the course record. The course record for the women fell, but it didn't for the men. Did you pick anything up from the guys about when it was that they felt that the record was no longer on? Was there a point in the race in which they decided they're not going to go for it anymore?
Well, the first kilometre, as you heard in the interview, was a 2:47, so that was bang on pace. And then it became tactical. It was a bit of a head one, and it was a little bit chilly. So I think that the guys are like going, let's consolidate and see what happens. As you mentioned in the commentary, Alex, 13:50 second 5 kilometers. Stephen was also talking about it. 13:50 second 5 kilometers. And when they're in the right shape and when the frame of mind is right, Stephen is going to go, I'm going for it. I'm not going to talk to the other guys. I'm not going to turn around and say, hey, let's go for it. Let's work together. He's going to go, much like Stella did. And I spoke to Stella off Stella just saying, whilst I was trying to find some of the other athletes. It was bittersweet. She wants the win. We spoke about the course record. She was like, no, I want the win. So I said, coming back next year? She goes, yes. I said, third time lucky? She goes, yes. So they're keen. They really want to come back here. They all want to come back here to race here.
I think another important thing that we must take into account is for the viewers at home, particularly those who haven't run at an elite level, that these elite athletes, they're not machines. They cannot turn out a great performance week after week. They're in different phases of their season. Some in Northern Hemisphere, some Southern Hemisphere, and you're preparing. It's a pre-Olympic year, so some people will be putting in a massive amounts of volume right now, and it's not as sharp. And I would think somebody like Stephen is much like that. He's probably preparing for a big marathon later in the year. Tish Jones has just been selected for the Great Britain marathon team for the World Championships. These athletes will be in different phases of their training, and that is the difference. So they come here, they hope to do well, they hope to feel good and so forth, but they're not going to feel great every time that they come here.
Well, Alec, you're quite right that, speaking about the athletes and as they come through and how they run these races and how important this is, for the fun runners to get out there and have fun. This is what it's about. It's about not just the guys on the front. It's not just, we love talking about what happens on the front. We love this. You and I have been raised on this. You yourself a former athlete, so you know the adrenaline from the front. But for the sport to grow, what you can see here, these people running out there having fun, trumpets blaring, this is important for the sport, because somewhere coming out of this pack we are going to find somebody who's going to just knock it up a little notch, and all of a sudden we're going to find these athletes turning around and churning it out at the next level.
Well, at the press conference the other day, we heard from Stefan at the, talking about the weekend warriors, talking about seeing the athletes out there preparing for the race in the race T-shirt and things. And this event is all about that. The weekend warriors, the fun runners, the walkers. We see somebody coming across with a pram. And I mentioned it earlier, the San Francisco Chronicle talks about the Bay to Breakers as a direct route to the city's heart and soul. And this event, the FNB 12 ONERUN, is a direct route to the Cape Town city's heart and soul, right here in Reed Street by the FNB building.
Indeed, and like we are joined now by Stefan Clausen from FNB, looking very, very smart and elegant with your bow tie. Kind of just talk us through the fashion here. It's like the T-shirt. You're just coming from the right. What's with the bow tie?
Well, it's just part of the fun. When one has to take this serious and show you take it serious, but also it's great fun for us.
Well, let's talk about what you were on the route. It's not the first time you've run this. You love coming here and run. What do you look for? Yes, you're involved. Obviously, from a sponsor point of view, you're involved. But from a personal point of view, when you're running here and you're part of FNB, how proud are you when you're out there on the road?
Well, let me firstly say it's amazing to see that this has become such an inclusive race. People from all walks of life, all over the country come do this event, and they fall in love with the event. And that's what it's all about for us, is to show people what South Africa and what Cape Town has to offer. So when people get excited, when the volunteers get excited, and they claim this as a race of Cape Town, where the people of Cape Town and of South Africa fall in love with the race, that really makes us proud, because we're a proudly South African organization.
I met you 5 years ago at the inaugural FNB Cape Town 12 ONERUN. We spoke then. 5 years later, did you have any idea? 14,000 runners embraced by the city of Cape Town. Did you have any idea about that?
Well, I think we always had big dreams, but one is nervous when you start these events. You're never sure, will it work, will people participate? So we're very grateful how people have responded to this. The first year when we came in, all the restaurants and coffee shops were closed. People didn't think it would be successful. The second year they were all open, and that's good for us. We like the fact that businesses get involved. There's more than 2,000 teams or people that entered as part of their businesses now. So you can see the businesses taking on each other and saying, let's compete. So yeah, we didn't realize it will become this big, and we just hope it will keep on growing.
Well, after 5 years, you've hit bronze label status. That's massive.
It is. I mean, if you look at the two sort of journeys of this event, on the one side, how the number of participants grew, and on the other side, the accolades that the guys got. So well done to Stillwater Sports and all our co-sponsors that helped to grow this event.
Tell us about your run. What was it like out there?
Well, one starts enthusiastic, the adrenaline's pumping when you start. I think I felt quite good until about 6Ks, and then one can feel the fatigue setting in. But it's good when you see some friends coming past and they challenge you and they lift you to the next level. I think specifically when the cloud lifted over the mountain and you're inspired by running towards the mountain and coming down this red carpet beat Bolt section, you get shivers down your spine. So yeah.
Did you beat Bolt?
I doubt it, but I tried.
What was your... The first guys went through the first kilometer in 2:47. What were you, 3:03?
I think
3:02?
Probably 5. But I know I saw the WhatsApp coming through about the winners, and I was on 7Ks when they were at the finish.
So when you hear that, when you see that, because obviously you're out there for the fun and the enjoyment, does it give you a boost, like both from a professional and a personal point of view? Because obviously huge pride with FNB. These guys have run race, the woman smashing the course record, and then also from a personal point of view, because you've obviously got personal goals in the running as well.
It certainly does. So earlier you guys spoke about the press conference here, to see those top female and male athletes and how serious they take this, and we're all inspired because you want to say I ran in a race where the world champions also ran. It brings that aspirational aspect to it. So the fact that it's both a top world-class race and that the weekend warriors, as we call them, are really getting into it, I think that makes us proud. We want people to say this is a calendar event. I'm going to book it now for next year, and we're going to make this a great event every year.
What I really love is the fact that you're not just involved in terms of the sponsors. You're actually going out there and running, and you see what everybody's experiencing, and you come with your own ideas and your own feedback.
Well, it's not only me. I must say we've got, I think, over 100 runners just from FNB, and of course lots and lots of clients. So that competition inside the organisation is also great. Yeah. So people talk about this for a few weeks running up to the event. So we wanted to be a great competition as well.
So Stefan, year 5 years down the line, what are we looking forward to for the next 5 years?
Hopefully so, and hopefully it becomes better and better and bigger every year. Yeah, we're looking forward to the next 5 years indeed.
Final message to everybody running out there, friends, family?
Well, I think the biggest message is let's show the world what we have to offer. We've got to tell the world this good story about South Africa. It's a wonderful country. We've got great events like this, and this helps to build brand South Africa. So yeah, let's go and spread the message about this great country.
Awesome. Thank you very much for joining us, Stefan. Great run, fantastic. Go and have that cup of coffee, and we look forward to seeing you at the next one.
Thanks very much.
Yeah. Thanks very much to Stefan there. We're back at the Bolt 100-meter speed run there, sponsored by Puma. Looks like an athletics track. I bet Usain Bolt would have loved to run on that one because it's slightly downhill and would favour a slightly faster time. So fantastic running here, and here we see all the FNB race t-shirts coming across the line. They far outnumber the clubs as we move further and further back in the field. We're about 1 hour and 32 into the race, and here we got a few ladies just having a great deal of fun.
Well, that was a nice jump there. Smiling here for the photographer. Give him your best shot.
So as I mentioned, the FNB Cape Town 12 one run, probably modelled on the Beta Breakers, first held in 1912. Attracts 40,000 people every year, and the Sydney City to Surf as well. That's a 14-kilometre event which attracts 80,000 participants a year.
Imagine 80,000 rand running through Cape Town.
I wonder how many we'd be able to accommodate. Of course, the Peachtree Road Race, which I mentioned earlier, I still remember taking 9 Grey High schoolboys from Eastern Cape to the Peachtree Road Race in 1994 with 55,000 runners, and their treat was I got them elite runner status. They warmed up with the Kenyan world record holder.
Wow.
They had a ball. Fantastic.
Wow. Well, that's a really interesting conversation coming out from Alec. Has been around a long time. He has taken athletes to Boston Marathon, big other marathons, but it's massive down here at the finish line. So we're going to join Sipho down on the finish line. He's got some athletes who've just finished the race and are having fun. Sipho?
Okay, we're right here at the finish line. I'm standing with a wonderful gentleman here by the name of Vux, who's just in his 12 kilometers as well. Just tell us, what was your time, Puti?
My time was 1:16.
1:16. 1 hour 16. So how was it in terms of the route? You know, how was it? Was it good? Did you better your time? Is this your first or second one?
It's my second one.
Your second one. And in terms of the time, is there a difference to what you did last year and compared to this year?
Yes, I did 1:30 last year, and this year I started at the back, but I think it's a nice time for me.
Okay, nice. So you beat it by what, 15 minutes? Wow, that's a good standing, eh? So are you preparing for anything? Is just to enjoy and have fun? Or are you preparing for anything?
Oh, I'm focused on the comrades now. We're going to comrades.
Oh, okay, you're going to comrades. Okay, so that's a loosener for you if you're doing 78 kilometers. Okay. No, thank you very much. Really appreciate it. Okay. Thanks, man. Sure. Hello. Hi, gentlemen. How are you? Hello, how are you? You good? Super. No, come on, man. So how was it? You almost done. How was it out there?
Good.
Good. Did you enjoy the camaraderie, the vibe? Is it your first one?
Lucky it was my second one. I almost didn't do it because I hurt my ankle 2 weeks ago, but I'm here and it was amazing. Thank you.
And you?
Lucky, it was good.
Oh, fantastic, man. What's your name, by the way?
Vian.
Cool. So you're going to be doing it again there next year? We're seeing you next year. How's it, man? You're right. You good? What's your name? Matthew, nice meeting you, man. Is it the first time or second one? First time. What was your time? 1:34. Well done, man. So are you preparing for anything?
No, it's never fine.
Okay, cool, nice. Did you enjoy the vibe though? Great. And the vibe? How was it? Lekker. I like that. I think we got a couple here. Thank you very much, man. We got a couple here. Hello, guys. Hello. I'll start with the lady first. Okay. How are you? What's your name?
I'm very well. I'm Marie.
Okay, Marie. And how are you, sir?
I'm good, thanks.
What's your name?
Kirsten.
Cool. So, Marie, tell us about it. How was it? Was this the first time or second time?
Yes, it was
Okay, super. So you did enjoy it, right?
very much.
Okay, cool. And the vibe and the camaraderie?
Fabulous.
And your time, please. Everybody wants to do their time. Have a good time. 1:35, I think. Well done. Where are you guys from, by the way, if you don't mind me asking?
I'm from Namibia.
Namibia. Oh, okay. Look at that. Hey. Outside of Cape Town, Port Elizabeth, and Namibia. Hey, well done, guys. Okay. We'll see you again. Just go get some water and all the energy drinks. So let's get some of the guy. He's looking at his time. Okay. So how are you? You good? What was your time? I see you looking at your watch.
It doesn't matter about the time. It just matters about finishing the race.
I like that. All about fun. What's your name, by the way?
Jason.
Jason, nice meeting you. Is it your first one?
First one, yes.
Oh, first one. So you did enjoy it. The vibe, that was good.
It was such a great vibe. Well sponsored, well supported, and it's just a great day out.
Superman. So we're seeing you next year, right? Great, man. Enjoy it. Okay. Cool. Well done, man. Hello, my lovely lady. I'm gonna have to steal you. You look tired.
I'm okay.
What's your name, by the way?
Courtney.
Your first or second?
First.
The first. Oh wow. What was the time?
1:35.
Oh, that's good. So you did enjoy it, right? What about the vibe? Come on, tell us.
It was excellent.
I like that. Great. So you're gonna come to these gentlemen. Oh, look at this, man. This is the cutest thing seen. This is a Julia rack. And they got a sound system as well. What's their name? First, I'm not gonna ask you guys. What's their names? What's your name?
Thank you.
Hannah. Hello, Hannah. How are you? Did you enjoy it? What was your time? She doesn't even know. So dad and daughter, how are you, man? You good? What's your name?
I'm Ryan. Nice to
Oh, Ryan. So you thought to bring the family as well and the wife as well? Bridget, nice meeting you. So you guys thought you should actually bring the whole family. So this is what it's about, the FNB Cape Town 12-1 run, bringing all the families together, and you guys are here bringing all your little ones. So I love seeing that. Totally, they enjoy it as well. You stopped at any activation point, right?
Have you done it?
The activation point, but these kids had a jaw. They outran us the whole time. We couldn't keep up with them. And they didn't even break a sweat.
Done it now.
Their favorite part was the jelly babies, by far.
And how's about the music in terms of the vibe? The music, do you enjoy the music out?
Always an awesome vibe here. It's amazing.
So it is about the awesome vibe. And look at that, they've got their own actually sound box here as well. Check it out. You know, they've got their own sound box. They don't need anything. They've got Michael Jackson swinging to the moves. Thank you very much, guys. Really appreciate it. You guys are legends. You guys are stars. Let's check everybody else. Let's check someone else. Hello. She wants to be on the mic. Okay, they can be on the mic both. Come on, ladies. Come on. So how are you guys doing today? How was it today?
It was awesome. We took pics almost everywhere.
Is it?
City today.
You did exactly run the city. No worries about time, no worries about all. Just making sure that you enjoy the sun.
Absolutely.
I like that. I love that, guys. And well done to you guys. We will see you again next year.
Yes, awesome. Of course.
Well done. Hello.
So those are all the beautiful faces that are participating in the FNB Cape Town 12-1 run. A great job from our man on the ground, Sipho, as we saw Carlisle and Courtney, the Martins, doing it as a family. Notemba as well, just coming across the finishing line. And isn't it great to see them in arms, coming across the line together as they enjoy the last few stages of the FNB Cape Town 12-1 run. Just one run, 12 kilometers across the streets of Cape Town, starting in Milnerton and finishing out here in Bree Street, right next to the FNB building, as we enjoy the streets of the city where the mountain meets the sea. It's the mother city, and it's been a fabulous morning as the weather starts to change now slightly, but the best of the weather allowed us to see a fabulous race unfold. In the men's race, Morris Kachaga won it for a third time, and the ladies' race in particular was so exciting as we saw Brilliant Kipkovic winning it.
Indeed, but just look at all these play people out there having fun, wearing backpacks. Really would be interested to see what their thoughts have been on the water along the route. You almost beat Bolt. How cool is that? I asked Stefan Klaassen, did you beat Bolt?
And his answer was almost.
There you have it. But it's so good to see how people are coming out in their droves to come and run. There's definitely a move in South Africa. We all love the front end. We are adrenaline junkies. We love the racing in the front. But South Africa is turning into a much healthier nation now. There is absolutely no doubt. Just look at how races are growing. The FNB Run Your City series is very, very hugely part of that. I mean, just look at 14,000 runners here. Durban, we're hitting close to 10,000 runners. The Joburg race, also very, very big. And it's really good to see how people are taking their lives back and becoming more healthy.
Yeah, it is all about health. It is all about just staying active. And as Alec correctly mentioned, we have a lot of female participants. The number of women running these days is increasing, and it's something we've seen at this bronze label status FNB Cape Town 12. It's really been a great race.
I think it's also part of women wanting to take control of their lives, of their destiny, of their fitness, of their health, and it's fantastic, and it's just great to see this sea of color, coming through back to the Puma Bolt speed. We must try and get to who's leading that competition.
Yeah,
it would be very interesting.
We must try and get those numbers. We will be getting them before the broadcast ends, because many people tuning in around the world want to know who exactly won it and who is leading the leaderboard for the Puma 100 meters Bolt sprint leaderboard. And there's just the DHL. That's the DHL mile, just about a mile from the finish line. Their activation there as you run through that DHL tunnel and get wonderful encouragement for the last kilometer and a half-ish of the race.
Yeah, and look at the fun that they're having out there, and I think that has been such a vital component of road running in South Africa, and in particular the FNB series. But on the finish line, Sipho once again has some colourful runners down there. Well, yes. Sipho's looking to grab them. He is just looking at the athletes coming through, the runners coming through here, all in this year's T-shirt.
Yeah, all in this year's T-shirt. Now, Sipho's got some runners with him. They've got a special T-shirt printed, and he's going to give them to us in a moment. They're running for a cause. Let's hear from Sipho, who has got the Ocal Global guys with him down at the finish line of the FNB Cape Town 12-1 run.
Right, we're right here with some glorious and actually crazy athletes. I'll tell you why I'm saying that they're crazy. Just to actually speak to you, lady. What's your name, by the way? Nicoline. Where are you guys from?
So we from an organisation called Ocal Global, which stands for One Chance at Life, and we've decided to take on a 10-day, 2,200 kilometre, 24-hour non-stop journey to arrive at the start line of the FNB One Run.
You heard that very well, ladies and gentlemen. They actually ran from Pretoria to Cape Town. This was actually just peanuts. That's a warm down for you.
Yeah. This is our little warm down, cool down stretch, and we're actively running for change. So the reason we did this with abled and differently abled people, we've got 2 deaf runners, 1 visually impaired runner, and we did this for the 133 differently abled children of the Northern Cape that needs mobility and they need dignity. So we've been running actively for change for 10 days.
Okay, that's actually great. Let me ask one of your members if how they fared out in terms of the event. Hello, Sister Kunjan.
Hello, Putin.
How was this one actually? How was it for you in terms of compared to what you did from Pretoria to Cape Town?
This race was smaller for me. I've climbed the hills, rolling hills, big hills, flattish hills like they say. So this one was just flattish for me.
Well, as you heard, guys, it was smaller nyana for her. So I guess it was actually smaller nyana for everybody. I think we need to make a noise for the camera crew and everybody else. But we also want to speak to one of our fellow as well, to Umbulelo. So how was it, my man? You actually used to work with this gentleman. I still work with him. How was it, my man?
Oh man, unbelievable. To do this with 11 incredible people and for something that's not just for ourselves. You know, it's obviously something that people say all the time, but it's been unbelievable to see the parts where we're making a difference as well. It was super special, yeah.
Super special indeed. From the point of 1, 2, 3, we're going to make a noise for Oko. 1, 2, 3. There we go. Thank you very much, guys. Well done, by the way. Okay, super.
And there you have it, Sipho speaking to Okal. It's called One Chance at Life. One Chance at Life. And they're a group who believe that running can change lives, and they're running for different causes. They're running so that differently abled people can be part of this. They're running for depression. They're running for various different things. And I saw you spot some faces that you know as part of that Okal. We'll come back to that in a bit, though. We have, for those who may have missed the FNB Cape Town 12 ONERUN 2019, a highlights package of Morris Kachaga winning the race, the men's race, and Brilliant Kipkoech winning the ladies' race. Let's have a look.
Well, they got off to a very fast start. 2:47, as Stephen Makoka told us in the interview. Gladwin Mzazi very much in the forefront here. Boxer really coming to the party in these FNB Road Races series and bringing the athletes here. And Alec, I think that's really good because that too is going to help grow the sport. But Morris Kachaga at this point in time, looking very comfortable. Elroy driving the pace. It hasn't exploded yet.
Yeah, it's a bit of a cat and mouse affair. You know, we'd like to see course records, but they've got to try and win the race first and then think of the record. And I think that this was very much in Morris's mind. You know, the fact that he could win and almost go away with consummate ease at the end tells me there was a bit more in the reserve tank if somebody pushed him hard enough. But he wanted to make sure he got the victory.
And this is where the race began to unfold between Mbande and Morris Kachaga that would develop in the later stages of the race.
Yeah, we were indeed. We were heading in towards Cape Town now, into the town itself. So the guys had been throwing in fartlek surges and so on. They went through the first 5 kilometers in 14:20, 14:21 or so. So not the fastest of times. This is the move. This is the first move. Abdallah Mandi decided, this is it. I'm taking on this race. He finished the third last year and knows this route, and he decided, this is it. Now I need to take it on. And looked like initially he was getting away with it. It was left to Morris Kachaga, and you can see now how Morris then would pick up and get back onto the shoulder of Monday.
This is where this international rivalry came in as well. Of course, you've got the Uganda element, the Kenya element. We heard Steve Makoka in the press conference talking about he's a soldier for his country. This is how these guys think. They think it's about being a soldier for their country, going to war on the battlefield of the road races.
And for the first time in the men's race of the FNB Cape Town 12, the defending champion Morris Kachaga was made to work there, to have to stay with Mbande, as Mbande threw in surge after surge. At this point of the race, they are just about to come up to that hill, are they, Manfred, where we would see the race really then blow apart.
Well, they were about to turn into Adley Street, and they had a short climb here. Now they're in the government alley. On the left hand side is the museum. This was a short, sharp turn. They had about 200-300 meters before they hit Whale Street down at the bottom, and that was the climb. And this is the point where Morris Gachuk had been sitting on the shoulder of Mundy all the time, giving him a little bit of a gap, giving him a little bit of an edge. Stephen Mokoka here making his bid for third, and the guys in the front having really gone. But Mokoka did come fairly close back to catch them. But here it is. This is 11 kilometers. We're about to, you can just see it on the top there, we're about to hit that 800-meter unbelievably fast finish where Gachaga has won the race every year.
He knows exactly where to put the hammer down, to put that foot on the accelerator, put it to the floorboard and give it full gas. Doesn't matter about how many revs you're putting out. You know you're going to be finished in a short period of time. You're going to recover. You know, some athletes have this ability to almost run themselves into the ambulance. I talk about that when I coach an athlete. Run yourself into the ambulance. You know, you're not going to get there. So push and push and push as much as you can. You know, the athlete who can push till the nth degree and thinks he's going to die a second after the finish line, he's the guy who'll come away the victor.
And there's where Morris Gachaga took the race by the scruff of the neck as he surged ahead of Mbande. It's the Bolt 100-meter sprint, and Morris really trying to get faster than Usain Bolt in this section. And at this point, the race was won.
Indeed it was, and he had already started celebrating. And here was Morris Gachaga, 33:38 was the time. Did he do the dance again? We didn't quite see it there. Stephen Mokoka coming in there for third, first South African, and really is, you say, a soldier for the country. He does represent.
And a good run from Alfred Ngona.
Yeah, Alfred and Moses. Echoing each other, but look at this wonderful view, and this is what attracts so many of these thousands of participants, this beautiful country, beautiful city of Cape Town, and of course, Table Mountain in the background.
There we go, then confirmation of results. Look how tight it was. Again, 4 out of the 5 years running, it has been within a second. Morris Gachaga just nipping up Dalla Mundi, although it wasn't as close as we saw in 2015 and 16, where it was literally on the line. It was like a hair separating the top two. That was a good win. Mokoka coming through. I keep referring to him as a real great ambassador for South Africa, 33.50. And Alroy Galant, 34.14, the second South African in 6.
All the top 5 men under 34 minutes. Moses Kikovic running out that sub-34 finish, and a good run, as mentioned by Alec, from Milton Kekana there, making a name for himself to finish under 36 minutes at the FNB Cape Town 12. So that was the men's race. The ladies' race that proved to be an entertaining one as well, as they went head-to-head. Stella Chesang leading that race for much of the race, but it was Brilliant Kipkovic who would come through and shatter the course record to beat Chesang into second. And these were the early stages with Yvette van Zyl still in that leading bunch.
Very early indeed. This is still in the first 2 kilometers. They've just gone up over the little bridge outside of Milnerton. You can still see that's part of Milnerton on the right hand side. And this is where Stella was driving. She was driving the pace. You mentioned you'd been at the technical briefing, Musibodi, and she had this smile on the face when they were speaking about Vivian Chariot's course record. She meant to chase it. At this point, Yvette was still fine. She did say in the interview earlier on that she was struggling, she had health issues and so on. But and there she actually went and took the lead for a bit. Yvette van Zyl, this is what I like, Alec. Yvette van Zyl loves to challenge. She loves to push.
She's aggressive, and you know that's a good hallmark of any runner. You know, she's trying to push boundaries. Doesn't matter how much it hurts. She is one of those warriors who can really put the hammer down, and when she's on form, you know you're in for a really tough race. But Stella Chesang it was who decided she was just going to run a nice steady pace all the way. See Brilliant Kipkovic tucked in there together with Sophia Chegi, and yeah, some great athletes here from African nations.
14:21 for the men's race through 5 kilometers. For the ladies, it was a shade outside 16 minutes as they went through 5Ks. Just inside 16 minutes, I beg your pardon, as they went through 5 kilometers, and they would eventually get closer to that course record. But really for here, for the ladies race, a lot of work being done in the second half of the race as they really tried to challenge Stella Chesang.
Well, Stella Chesang obviously came here with the meaning. She had said in the build-up to the race that she knows the course. She's looking to run a fast run, and she wants to win. She was hungry to win. And the end, it obviously did race herself out of contention. Very cleverly, you can see. Brilliant Kipkovic ran a brilliant race. She was tucked in all the time. She let Stella Chisang do all the work, and the other athletes also letting Stella Chisang lead from the front. And Alec, it's hard. It's hard leading from the front. It's not just setting the pace. It's what are the guys doing behind me? How fresh are they? Are they going to? Can I maintain this?
Yeah. But there are certain athletes who need to run like that. I'm not saying she's one of them, but there are certain athletes that are perennial front runners and others who like to sit in and be a little bit more tactical. And Stella's obviously one of these who feels more freedom running out in front. She tries to switch off compared to what the opposition do, but there we see Brilliant taking it to her.
And this was a decisive move. As they turned up Whale Street, this was the climb. Brilliant decided to Brilliant Kipkoech decided to attack, and Stella, knowing the race, decided to give it a shot. But again, the Puma mile, or the Puma 100-meter sprint, was where the move happened, both in the men's and the women's race.
Yeah, and Brilliant Kipkoech there, feeling that this was her time to go, and Stella Chisang could not respond to that significant surge. Half a meter became 2, which quickly became 5. She'd eventually run away. The decisive move to take the 2019 FNB Cape Town 12-1 run. The Kenyan running away from the Ugandan, and at this stage Chisang having nothing left. The weather was great. There wasn't much wind out at the front. It was just a case of too much leg speed from the Kenyan, and the Ugandan couldn't respond. A wonderful finish. Clearly that cross-country pedigree doing her well here.
And of course, the course record was 38.22, smashed here by Brilliant, and only 6 seconds separating the top 4 in the female race.
Very tight race. Beautiful race.
That's incredibly deep. So really good running by the internationals. And again, we saw Yvette trying to take it on, and she did say the legs were still a bit heavy and she was feeling a little bit ill. But this is what is needed for our athletes, and Mokoka keeps on saying that as well. This is what is needed for our athletes to come through. And Yvette van Zyl, first South African, bettering her previous time as well.
Exactly. She finishes in 5th place.
Yeah, great effort there by Yvette van Zyl, leading a South African challenge. And we'll see confirmation of that course record coming up for Kipkoech. Time of just over 38 minutes. Fantastic run by her. There we go, 38.05. Well, it's only got the top 3 official finishes there. Of course, we had Sophia Chegu coming in as well amongst those athletes. Dikebu in 4th, 38.46.
And Yvette van Zyl is the first South African rounding out the top 5, finishing inside 40 minutes to better her previous best at the FNB Cape Town 12-1 run. A decent run from Tish Jones as well, just a shade outside 40 minutes. A couple of weeks after running the London Marathon, Kisam Letane, we are told, enjoyed her run as she looks ahead to another run in the mother city just next week, over 10 kilometers. And Lebu Palula, Zintle Qiniwe round up that top 10, all inside 43 minutes. A wonderful ladies race here at the FNB Cape Town 12-1 run, and a fantastic effort from the champion, Brilliant Kipkoech. So that was the elite end of the field, and that's how things happen there. But many of the masses continue to pour across the finish line. Our man down on the finish line, Sipho, is speaking to many more runners from all over the country, all over the continent, all over the world indeed. And Sipho has got some fancy dress with him now. Let's hear from them down at the finish line.
In his pajamas, lifting the knees. Really. Anybody?
So we just had to grab these ladies and this odd gentleman right here, just to actually ask them about their tutus and what they're about. Where are you guys from? Langebaan, all the way from Langebaan. And you guys, is this your first time or the second one?
No, this is my 3rd time.
Your 3rd time. Your first. Okay. So just tell me about your regalia. Like, what does this mean? You know, with all these bunny ears and everything, like the tutus.
Team Spirit.
Team Spirit. What's the team's name? Give us the team's name.
Team Minnie Mouse.
Team Minnie Mouse. Oh, Team Minnie Mouse. Team Minnie Mouse. From the count of 1, 2, 3, we shout Minnie Mouse. Yeah. 1, 2, 3.
Minnie Mouse.
That's where you go. Enjoy it. Have fun. We got another team as well right behind me from Malanga. Hello, Molweni Ninjani. Izan Ninjani. Nisukapi. Where are you guys from? Langa Skomline Ninjani. Boss is Nonga Papa Booty. So welcome to Sabana Ngatusuka Pakwalanga ne. Can you tell me, is it your first or second one?
Second one.
Third one. Okay. Best times, PBs, yes, no.
First time.
Yeah. Ibn John, is this one? What to be here? How was the vibe, guys?
It was awesome.
Let's make a noise for you vibe, guys. Come on, in 3, 2, 1. We back here again next year, right? Sabuya next year. We come back next year. Yeah. Injalo, show langa, show culture. Cool.
We're having an absolute blast on the finish line, and this is what it's all about at the FNB Cape Town 12 Run. It's all about fun. It's all about bringing out really, really good athletes to South Africa to compete against the best South Africans. We're joined now by Michael May, Managing Director of Stillwater Sports. We spoke more than 5 years ago about this. This has always been a dream of yours to bring the best in the world to South Africa and for South Africans to be able to compete against them.
Absolutely, Manfred. I think that from the start we really wanted to combine mass participation with an awesome experience for the larger field, and then also bring in world-class performance. We need that aspirational element, and I think that's been the success of the event, that we control those two.
We spoke to Stefan Clausen earlier about FNB involvement and how happy they are to be here because of both these elements that you've brought in. You've brought in the front and you've brought in the fun element. I mean, we're just looking over our shoulder over here, all these people coming in. You must have goosebumps watching this.
Yeah, I mean, it was a big vision of ours, I think 7 years ago when we started working on it. And, I'd been to events like Peachtree Road Race, Beta Breakers, these massive events all around the world, City to Surf. And I really believe that we could do this on South African soil. But apart from that, also Africa has the greatest distance running athletes, and we found it. We couldn't understand why Africans have to go to Europe and America to run for world-class times and fast times. And I think when Julian broke the European record at the Durban leg of the Run Your City series in 2018, I think it was a massive step forward for us, because I think it was the first time ever that a European had run a European record on the African continent, which was a nice reversal of how it normally happens.
Bring Europe to Africa. Michael, you mentioned the Peachtree and so on. I'm going to bring Alec Riddle in here now, because Alec had actually a very, very interesting comment earlier on about the Peachtree and how it links to the FNB Cape Town 12 Run.
Yeah, in a sense, I mentioned I took those Grey High boys to Peachtree in 1994, and one of those athletes, Greg Mitchell, top finisher of that group, I think he finished about 55th out of 55,000, and Greg Mitchell went on to become one of the head honchos at Big Box Containers, and of course Big Box been a supporter of Stillwater for some time, and Greg's still a very good athlete himself. In fact, I think he's either in the UK or back now, having done his MBA.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we have great partners, and we can talk about that. But I just think, I think for guys like yourselves, Alec, who have seen these big events around the world, I think it's great to have you involved and to be part of the team that tries to bring this to the South African public. I think it's essential that we show South Africans how exciting this type of racing is. Because they only took 33 minutes to run from Milnerton to the middle of Cape Town, so it's the pace is phenomenal to see.
It's frightening, and in the second half, you'll be able to relate to this, Mike, on both you and Alec, because of your pedigree of running. The second half, or the second 5K, was running 13:50. These guys were moving, and Morris Gachaga was saying, first I have to win this race, and then I'll worry about the record. I asked him on the finish line, so we're seeing you back next year. He goes, yes, he wants 4, 5, and he wants to dominate this race. When you hear things like that, instead of just saying, he was also saying, I want to come back, finish second again, I want to come back, I want to win. When you hear that, what does it do? How do you feel?
Yes, I think that's great, but more important than that, I think really now after 5 years, we're very thankful that the city has really got behind the event. When you're starting a new event such as this in the city, I think you have to get people on board, and I think the city centre and the city officials have embraced the event in a big way, and that makes a massive difference. So the whole experience for people visiting Cape Town to come and run it is changed, and with people like KFM on board, I think it really helps to have everybody aware that the event is happening in Cape Town, and that's the most important thing, because that creates the experience for these visiting athletes.
You mentioned how important the city of Cape Town has been, as well as all your other partners. You firmly established this race here on the calendar in South Africa, in Cape Town. Can we see you going overseas and trying to attract people to come and run overseas, make it a tourist element?
Absolutely. You know, we've got a strong vision for where the series can end, and it is bigger than 3 events. But we have to engage with our partners. We have to have all our partners, FNB, Puma, DHL, all companies that are strong in Africa. We have to take them with us, and maybe there's an expansion in South Africa to more events, but also hopefully an expansion to Africa.
Certainly exciting news, and you heard it here first. So really, really good to hear. I like the fact that you want to expand into South Africa. And when you and I spoke about this the first time 6 years ago, it's like, this is the race. And then a year later you said to me, I'm going to Durban. A year later it was like, we're going to Durban. We're going to make this the fastest 10K in the world for that year. We came close. But just seeing these athletes come out here and putting these events together, more coming to South Africa. Can you give us a little bit more information?
Well, I mean, obviously, 10 kilometer running is very popular, so it's very accessible and it's possible to do. But I think I'm sitting next to 2 athletics aficionados here. I think behind this whole series and the popularity for the mass participation, there's also a real strong move to encourage 10 kilometer running in South Africa. We've got a tradition of marathon running, and of course many different towns and cities have marathons, and they're fantastic events. But if we really want to improve South Africa's athletes' performance on the world stage, we have to have strong performances 5 and 10 kilometers, and that's what our mission is. And so it happens to also be a distance that are enjoyed by the masses and by people that live busy lifestyles and busy lives. We have to just on that quality element. The Kenyans are excellent in the 10 kilometer. And that's why they have great marathon runners and great track runners. But that's the distance that they're good at. And we hope that this series will stimulate 10 kilometer running in South Africa and will unearth new talent, around this distance.
Michael, you know what it's like to try and get athletes races overseas. And those agents say, what's his 10K time? What's her 10K time? And this is one of the biggest deliverances, I believe, to South African athletics, that you're creating an opportunity. If we just take, last year we had Joshua Cheptegei run that fantastic, 10 kilometers in the Durban City to Surf Run. And as you mentioned, Wonders was breaking the European record. Moses Koech finishing 3rd. He was in the mix here today. This gives our South African athletes an opportunity, Stephen's established already, but if he wasn't, this would have been a massive breakthrough for him and would have secured him numerous invitations to international races. And that must be the carrot for the guys who are running or getting into running, the youngsters who are trying to come through. And this is what I believe one of the biggest deliverances to South African athletes can come out of this event, besides obviously the mass participation, the fitness and the health, and corporate getting involved as well.
No, absolutely. You want to give South Africans, and not everybody is able to travel overseas to run a 10 kilometers. You want to give South Africans the best opportunity to run as fast as possible on home soil, because many more athletes can run on home soil, and then, as you say, qualify for the bigger events around the world. But I just want to add one thing. We've had the world best broken in the 12 kilometer in Cape Town. We have a very clear goal. We want the Durban leg to deliver a result that will break the world record in the 10 kilometer for men. I think that's not a easy goal. It's a lofty goal, but we had an African record, I think, in 2018. But to break the 10 kilometer world record on South African soil, I think would be tremendous. And with the gold label, with the bronze label status that we have now across this event and hopefully across the series, I think that makes it more enticing for the overseas and African athletes to come and run.
It's also easier for the African athletes to come and travel to South Africa as opposed to Europe. You mentioned mass participation, how important is it? And in looking at these people coming across the line right now, and so that we spoke about this earlier, but South Africa seems to have a drive to start running. And as you mentioned, 10Ks, 12Ks, anyone can do it.
Yeah, we like to say it's not how far you run, it's how fast you run the distance. So, we know about parkrun, how popular it is, and we just think that there's between the popularity of ultra running and the popularity of parkruns, we think that we're that middle step. And it's obviously the area where you have the most amount of people competing in the event that you have to enter. And so I'm just looking at the screen now. It's amazing to see every single one of those people that are finishing are they have a sense of achievement, they have a sense of accomplishment, they've had a fantastic day, and they feel good about life and hopefully a bit healthier.
It's fun, it's vibrant, it's healthy, and you never see somebody crossing the finish line angry.
Absolutely.
Which we see too much in society these days. Even on social media, it's angry. Out here, it's fun, it's relaxed, it helps people to focus. There's so much positives that come from events like this.
So when you design these courses and so when you think about this, obviously there's a huge amount of entertainment goes in. First year 8,000, we're sitting on capped 14,000, virtually double in 5 years. But when you think about the entertainment, so what goes through your mind? What are you looking for? What do you have you picked up over the years that people are looking for in terms of entertainment and going out there and having a good run?
No, there's only one rule, Manfred. I think they want to be inspired and they want to have fun. Those are the two. Everything we do, we measure on that. Obviously, safety and security are the cornerstone of everything. They want to have a safe experience, but over and above that, they want to have a tremendous amount of fun. And so the entire route is set up to be an assault on your senses. A lot of music, a lot of visual impact. I think that's important. But secondly, they want to also be inspired. So you're able to stand on the start line with these world-class athletes and have a great run. And I think that's important. South Africans need inspiration, and they need to know that they can enjoy life. And those are the two guiding principles.
A final word from you, future plans, what you're looking for, ultimate goal. You mentioned going into spreading into South Africa, spreading into Africa. Just in terms of the overall vision, in terms of mass participation, we've reached cap in Cape Town. Are we able to try and negotiate a little bit more runners coming in? Is that not doable? But what about the other events? Are they allowed to? What sort of numbers are we looking at there?
Yeah, look, we've got to be guided by the cities. But I know Alex been there. It's fantastic to see Peachtree Road Race, 55,000 runners, Beta Breakers, 90,000. San Francisco is a very similar city to Cape Town, I think, in terms of size and layout. And I certainly think there's room from our point of view to expand it, but we would be guided by the city. Even if we had 15,000 people across the three cities, that's 45,000 runners. It's a massive number. But if it was 20,000 across the cities, it would be 60,000, right? So if my maths is right, so it just depends on I think on our partners and especially on the cities.
Well, there you have it then, Michael Meyer, Managing Director of Stillwater Sports, visionary of this event and putting it together in a very short time, over 2 years, grown immensely in over 5 years. Run Your City series also growing. Great to have you, Michael. Fantastic vision. Really enjoyed this.
Thank you, guys. Great to have you here today too with this excellent production. I think we've already heard we've got hundreds of thousands of people watching it, so that's exciting, and it's excellent to have people like yourselves and Mozzie that know running, bringing the information to the viewers.
There you go then. That's, as I said, Michael Meyer, MD of Stillwater Sports. Still they pour in, people coming in, or families pushing prams. Great to see the people coming through and just absolutely enjoying it and having a fantastic time here at the 5th running of the FNB Cape Town 12 One Run.
And we just got a glimpse there of a couple of challenged people being pushed along in prams, and that is absolutely fantastic. Here we got it. Look at these, still able to participate. Doesn't matter about what your handicap is, running makes it possible. And well done to those who are pushing, and well done to those who are in those run, what do we call them? Run prams, run carts. They go fast.
I wonder on the downhills how much pull these carts actually have. I mean, this is already a downhill here, and it's a downhill for quite a steep downhill. You are going to run faster no matter how tired you are. Now you got this pram that's pulling you, and yeah. But we're seeing this all the time.
Is he getting ready for the Puma Sprint?
I think it's Wakanda forever.
Wakanda forever. There you have it. So, Musibudi, you have you've got the entertainment down there on the route and so on. Joining us here, first time round. You're going to come run next year, or are you going to be sitting here with us again?
I think that 30,000 Rand prize money is looking pretty good to me. If Alec can train me up to run 2:47 a kilometer.
Right, the challenge is thrown, Alec.
Well, I trained a few athletes to run 2:47 in my life, but I think it was for 5Ks and not 10 or 12. But yeah, it's really fast out there. These guys are running serious speeds. And, you know, we were speaking a little bit earlier about Eliud Kipchoge and the breaking two, and, you know, all of this and the awareness it's creating for running in the sport, because it's drawing so many people in, which is really great.
Yeah, so there's of course there's Eliud Kipchoge, and there's also Usain Bolt, who has attracted multitudes of people to athletics in general, and he's done wonders for the sport. As we see a huge bus come in, one of these buses that we usually associated with the longer distance run, here they come in, having lots of fun.
And this is the Langa crowd, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, the same club that Fortunate Zivo, one of our top 10 finishers, runs for this club. Yeah, fantastic. Look at the spirit here. Reminds me of the Vukani Multi-Sport Club from the Eastern Cape. They just have such a vibe. It's so wonderful to join in the fun with all of these people.
Yeah, having lots of fun as they come across the finish line in just under 2 hours and 15 minutes. And they first have to do their big cheer. Here it comes. And we've grown accustomed to this. This trend has really taken South Africa by storm. It happens all over the country at big races, small races. It really is about togetherness and community, which is what we've seen throughout the streets of Cape Town this morning.
Absolutely, as you say, Cape Town certainly has, and Michael Meyer was at pains to explain to us how much the city of Cape Town has got involved and behind this event, which is great. You've got road closures. I mean, it's fantastic. There's no cost. We were going for a run and we've got to worry about traffic and so on. And just look at that. It's just fantastic to see how people are out there with their kids, pushing them in the prams and having a good time.
Yeah, exactly. And some of the wheelchairs also out there enjoying the route. A fabulous day out. And the support there. Look at this supporter. Wow. She's taking this job seriously.
She certainly is. Puma will be well proud of her come Monday morning.
Encouraging people as they head towards the Bolt of Speed Sprint 100 meters. Can you beat Usain Bolt? Can you run as close to 10 seconds or under and win 10,000 Rand worth of Puma kit? And that's what that's all about. And that's what very vociferous support is all about as they'll come towards that Bolt Sprint. But really, it has been a wonderful day out here at the 2019 FNB Cape Town 12-1 run. A race won by Morris Kachaga in the men and Brilliant Kipkovic in the ladies. The ladies race in a new course record time, coming in just over 38 minutes there. It was 38.05 for Brilliant Kipkovic and Morris Kachaga there, missing out on the course record, but still a wonderful run. A wonderful run there by the Kenyan. So really was a fabulous race as we see more of the walkers enjoying coming across the finish line.
And still they come in their droves, masses and masses of people, 14,000 people coming through the streets of Cape Town, finishing here in Bree Street. And as you heard earlier on saying, Michael and Stephen Clausen saying that the coffee shops weren't open in year one. They are now all open. It's adding value to the city, and that's the trend with sport. For sporting events to be able to carry on, they do need to be able to not just put on an event for us, to run fast. as this lady is showing how to run fast. I wonder if she's looking for a coaching position.
Yeah,
She's got to be.
I think she has to win the supporter of the day here for the 2019 FNB Cape Town 12-1 run. It really, she is enthused by what she's doing out here, and I love it.
And look at the smile she brings to a couple of the people walking past, probably saying to themselves, well, I'm glad you're having fun, but we aren't breaking into a sprint right now.
Well, interesting is that I saw a couple of Spur banner teardrops just in the background. I wonder if she hadn't had a really hot Spur burger that's got her going and that she's revved up like that. So, yeah.
Well done, ladies and gentlemen. You've done it. You are live. I say you're talking about live.
Well, we're coming towards the end of the FNB Cape Town 12-1 run. 14,000 runners have been running through the streets of Cape Town, and most of those have made their way across the finish line. Over 2 hours and 15 minutes gone, and just a couple of minutes left as we see the last of the walkers, those pushing the wheelchairs, pushing the prams, coming across the finish line and just enjoying their day. Prize giving coming up in just a little bit, so we'll give you that if you're just tuning in. Let me remind you that Morris Kachaga won the men's race. He beat Abdullah Mane into second and Stephen Mokoka into third, as we say congratulations to Pankaj Bajaj coming across the line there. And the ladies race, that one was won by Brilliant Kipkovic. She beat Commonwealth Games 10,000 meter gold medalist Stella Chesang into second there. It was a thrilling women's race as both those runners came in under the previous course record, 38:08, the finishing time in the women's race.
You know, we saw Gladwin Mzazi leading the field out the first kilometre. He's actually had 3 top 10 finishes here, and somebody who broke that streak this year is Joel Moni, because he didn't arrive and he's been top 10 every single year since inception. What a record that was. But now, sadly, there is nobody holding a top 10 position every single year.
Yeah.
So we missed you, Joel. We hope you'll be
records
back.
are made to be broken. There you have it. We saw one being broken today in the women's race. Adam Weingaard coming across the line.
This is our 2 ladies with 1 gentleman.
Yeah, certainly a lot of fun going on out there, and this sea of people coming through. Just more and more runners coming through to the finish line here at outside the FNB building in Bree Street.
And many of those that are sharing their videos because they are walking, they are running, so they're taking videos of themselves, people like Ashley Pretorius, and sharing them on social media using the hashtag FNB Run Your City. So if you go to that hashtag FNB Run Your City, you can see all the great videos of the runners.
And there we got Ashley Pretorius and Tamlin. With their little horns on top of the hair. I'm sure they've had a whole lot of fun, and you know, none of these people are looking tired. I mean, it's a comfortable outing, and what a great way to start your Sunday. Wonderful.
And as you'll see, many of them carrying their own hydration packs, because in the interests of running clean, we've been asked to bring our own hydration, and you'll see many of them carrying the little backpacks as they make sure that we do away with all the single-use plastics. They're carrying their own water bottles.
If I'm not mistaken, there was, in fact, there's one, a little yellow bottle with the red lid in the goodie bags. So I think everybody was gifted one of those yellow bottles and encouraged to run with it rather than having the plastic sachets. Could you imagine? You know, 3 or 4 water tables times 14 piece, 14,000.
It's a lot.
It's 60,000. You need 2 water sachets per person per table. 120,000 pieces of plastic disappeared because of this campaign. What a fantastic effort.
And those like Anita Visa carrying that water bottle that was supplied in the goodie bag, and there are more still carrying that water bottle, and it's a wonderful addition to the race, because clearly it is good for the environment, and we hope to see much more of this throughout the FNB Run Your City series, with races to come in Joburg in September and in Durban in October.
And in the colours of DHL, I wonder if DHL is sponsoring, or we'll have to next year, because those are the corporate colours. We saw DHL yesterday, the Stormers pulling off a great draw with the Crusaders. That's a fantastic result. Mark Green heading his way to the finish. and everybody having a wonderful time here at the FNB Cape Town 12 ONERUN, part of the FNB Run Your City series, and 40,000 participants nationwide in the 3 events. Fantastic series brought to South Africa by Stillwater Sports, and well done to them for their vision, what they're doing for promoting the country, promoting the cities, promoting the athletes. Absolutely fantastic.
And of course, don't forget that this is a bronze label status race, as Anel Skade enjoys her finish, takes a sip of water as she crosses the finish line. This is a bronze label status race, meaning that you have to attract the very best athletes from around the world, number one. And number two, the organization just has to be top-notch with full road closures, which is what we have enjoyed today as runners ran from Milnerton right down here to the city center.
Well done to Tumelo Skosana, also getting her finish under the belt. Ayubulila Manyezi. These athletes, you know, it's a personal badge of honor. It's not about the race medal so much. It's about, I got out there, I did it, I finished in the required amount of time. I think that they're all very proud of themselves.
Yeah, and many, as they go across the finish line, taking those selfies with the medals. Remember that those that are coming across the finish line now, if you're just tuning into the FNB Cape Town 12 ONERUN, those coming across the finish line now will be taking selfies of a bronze medal, and those before them, the second 500 will have earned silver medals, and the first 100 gold medals were called the Morris Kachaga medals for the first 100 finishers. So that is how the medals went today. And these coming across now, there you go, pushing through the finish line, just enjoying themselves.
Charlotte De Wet, one of the many finishers, had Mandy Hart finishing some time ago, also doing very well. Wonderful to see these people. You know, take Mandy Hart as an example. Here's a young lady who's, just decided to get into running, into trail running. She's having so much fun with it, and the health and being supported by her husband Neil. Absolutely fantastic, and so many, family members, so many colleagues from work. All coming out, having fun. The club system, the parkrun system, it just creates a wonderful social environment, and a positive one. Linda Vivian heading her way to the finish as well.
And good to see club colors coming from up country as well, coming from Gauteng and other parts of the country, KZN as well. So a few of the Natal runners down here, lots of fat cats who come, a big club out there in Gauteng. So people also treating this as a holiday to come and enjoy the city, do a bit of running, and then see the sights, the beautiful sights of the mother city.
When we were at the university in Port Elizabeth, as young students, we were always looking for opportunities to race, to test ourselves, to try and run better times. And we used to club together, 4 or 5 of us, get in a vehicle, travel down to Cape Town, and wake up the next morning and run the Western Province, top events. And I think this event is going to get that type of status as well. Guys are going to travel to here, to try and get better times and so forth. But for these athletes further back, it's all about just getting moving. And they certainly are doing fantastic well, whether they're walking, jogging, running or sprinting down the Bolt 100-meter sprint course. Everybody seems to be having a whole lot of fun.
Now, speaking about traveling, Alec, and using what they call destination running as a means to see the world, you've also been around to plenty of big city races around the world, and one of the young men that you were running with eventually became a big corporate, but we'll talk about him in just a little bit while. Let's see the confirmation of the results in the men's race. It was a fabulous men's race. Morris Kachaga defending his title.
Fantastic run and fantastic effort by Abdallah Mande from Uganda, taking it to Kachaga. He wasn't going to sit back and respect the reputation. He tried to give it all he had. Stephen Makoko, fantastic run by him. Alfred Ngeni, brought out from Kenya by Craig Fry. I mean, he's done fantastically well. He had visa problems. Craig had to stay behind to get the the air to get fixed and all sorts of things. So the fact that Alfred got to the start line is amazing. Well done to Moses Koech in 5th and Elroy Galant in 6th. Joel Ayeko 10th in the World Cross Country Championships. I mean, what a fantastic performance that was. And 3rd place finisher from last year, John Langat in 9th. And the ladies race probably as exciting, if not more, because we had a fantastic record here. 38.05 by brilliant Kip Koech and Stella Chisang just 4 seconds back in 38.09.
Stella Chisang finishes 2nd again, although she would have been inside the previous course record. That time from brilliant Kip Koech, a new course record time of 38.05. She showed her cross-country pedigree as she sprinted away from Stella Chisang as they got to that Puma Bolt sprint 100 meters, and she ran away. The Ethiopian Tigetu Azimeru rounding out the podium, and Yvette van Zyl in 5th. Under 40 minutes is the first South African. She tried to hang on with the lead bunch for as long as she could, but when they broke, she made sure that she fought and was able to finish in 5th. A good performance as well from Tish Jones to take 6th place just after a couple of weeks, 3 weeks after a marathon, and Kisam Letsane will be happy with her 7th place finish.
Just talking about Tish Jones, there's no country flag next to the South Africans, so Tish Jones, she's been living in Cape Town for the last 3-4 years but competes for Great Britain. Seems like we've adopted her into South Africa. 2:31 marathon in London 3 weeks ago, former winner here 2017, fantastic athlete, does a lot of riding on the bike, by the way. I was speaking to her about her training. She does a lot of bike riding. Lisa gives her strength, which is always great. And these athletes haven't got too much longer to go if they're to get here by 11:30. I think the official cutoff is in about a minute and a half, so yeah, it's going to get tight.
Exactly, and just 90 seconds to go. It is going to be an entertaining finish, and they must know that they have to get across the finish line quickly if they are to earn the last of those bronze medals available for the 2019 version of the FNB Cape Town 12-1 run. Some of these may not make it. They'd better start sprinting if they're going to get a medal. But they don't look too bothered. They're having such a fun time. There's some running faster. Hey, they got the message.
Yeah, looking for that cutoff. But yeah, as you mentioned, this is all about fun and having a good time out there. It's all about personal enjoyment and personal achievement. We all love to run really fast, way past that sell-by date. But 30 seconds left for that bronze medal. They don't seem to be that too perturbed about those 30 seconds.
My question is, if the elite starts at a minute before, don't they get an extra minute? The athletes? They might need it.
Planting a seed?
Well, they're having so much fun as we get ready to take the prize giving. But before that, there's the countdown. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 2.5 hours, and that's it for the bronze medals. But they've had enough fun anyway. The last medal is just the Bossy All Boys should, as they hand out those medals and take the selfie for the last runner over the line for the bronze medal. We're about to head down to prize giving, where we will see all the medals handed out for the podium finishers and those that receive prize money. Really, it has been a great day. The weather has played along, especially in the first hour of the race. The weather was great, but we are seeing the clouds beginning to gather above, and we could see just a little bit of wet weather as wrap up this race. Is that the last medal for Mandy Edison?
Looks not sure about that, but Mandy's done very well. And I think for many of these people still coming through, as I said earlier, it's not always about the medal. It's about coming out here and just participating in a fantastic vibe. There was a great wave. I spoke about it earlier. Wave of enthusiasm, a wave of fitness, of athleticism, and these athletes have just, or when I say athletes, I suppose anybody who gets off the couch is an athlete.
Exactly.
And we applaud them for getting off the couch. So, yeah, coming out here, doing the event, whether you're walking, whether you're running, everybody's had a great time.
Yeah, it's also very interesting. Obviously, there's a lot of friendships out there and families and so on. So, as you mentioned, Alex, it's a good way to get out and have fun. But it's quality time too with those who are close to you.
And those that are tuning in, many tuning in from around the country and indeed around the world, coming from all corners of South Africa to be part of this FNB Run Your City series. It's the Cape Town leg, the FNB Cape Town 12-1 run. Remember that entries are open for the Joburg leg that's happening in September. And some of these athletes, many of these athletes will be making their plans to enter the Joburg leg. If you're tuning in from Johannesburg, enter as we encourage Carl Beach over the finish line. He looks like he's had a great time out here today, and he's going to enjoy what's left of it.
And I'm sure his message to those who are watching this right now is, if I can do it, why can't you? So that's the challenge. For those of you sitting at home thinking, I can't do it, why don't you be like Carl Beach, be brave, be courageous, get out there and go and do it and have fun. Look, he's somebody's phoning him to telling me he's on TV. And somebody's speaking nonsense about him right now. But anyway, he's having fun.
Yeah, they say you must wave, Carl, if you're talking to someone on the phone. As the ST also makes her way to the finish line. These are the friendships that you talk about, Manfred. It's amazing that you might meet someone for the first time, run maybe 5 or 6 kilometers with them, and in that 5 or 6 kilometer walk and run, chatting, you become friends and buddies. And more running over the finish line. The young man being carried by his dad over the finish line.
We see you as well. What we did before that bottle at that pink box container.
Ravensmead Athletics Club, dressed to the hilt, yeah.
Dressed to the nines, dressed to kill. Patronella, Patty Davids.
Looks like she's ready for the opening of Parliament.
There we go. I like that.
Love the outfit, Patty.
Well done, ladies. Smile for us.
Yeah, with her friend Nasli Peterson. There goes the... Oh, I thought it was the selfie. It's the water bottle.
Well done to you, man. Good going.
Their phones are going to come out any moment now. They're going to get the phone call. We're on TV. Nasli Peterson's going to say, yay.
All right, thanks very much, Sipa. We're going to get started with prize giving in the next 2 minutes. So 2 minutes.
And we're getting people tuning in all around the world to watch the FNB Cape Town 12-1 run. People telling us from Australia that they are seeing all their friends on TV. Remember that when you're tweeting us from around the world, use the hashtag FNB Run Your City. If you see someone you know and want to encourage them across the finish line, hashtag FNB Run Your City, as we get in touch from all corners of the world to enjoy this race. Hashtag FNB Run Your City.
Prize giving in the age groups, please make sure you are close by.
There we go, walking hand in hand.
That's looking to grow this series into South Africa and into Africa. And if there are people from watching from Australia, well, you know what? Come and have a holiday in Cape Town. It's a great place to be. You watch, now you can come and participate. We welcome you with open arms.
Peter and Megan Henning, as you say, Alec, hand in hand across the finish line, and have enjoyed this walk. Looks like a fairly relaxed walk, and those that are coming across are just enjoying themselves. A wonderful Sunday, and lots to do still after this as the music continues here behind us at the finish line of the FNB Cape Town 12.
Well, the beauty of this event, if you think about it, 12 minutes a kilometer is 144 minutes, which is 2 hours 24. 12 minutes a kilometer is a fairly brisk but comfortable walk. You know, so for virtually everybody, this is achievable for most. And yeah, here we've got our two ladies, the one from Ravensmead Athletic Club. She's
opening Parliament.
Patty Davids.
Winning the fancy dress competition today.
Yeah. And as the elite athletes now gather for the prize giving, we'll be giving that to you shortly. Many of the top runners are there. They are getting ready, all dressed in their club tracksuits as they ascend the podium to collect their money, to collect their medals. Let's cross over to the prize giving to see all the top runners and what they were able to achieve today. Morris Kachaga, the men's champion, and of course Brilliant Kipkoech, the ladies champion.
Ladies, third place.
Right, it's representing South Africa, time of 48 minutes 24, Jana Leroux.
Up onto stage speed, Jana.
In second place,
Also from South Africa, from the Athlete Academy, time of 47 minutes 09, Beatrice Temani.
and then, ladies and gentlemen, in first place,
representing Ethiopia, 42 minutes 45, Birho Gede.
all right, so waiting for the first placed athlete.
Well, just waiting there for Birho Gede from Ethiopia. If she's still around, just onto the stage, please.
All right, not yet. Let's get that photograph. Thank you very much. All right, here she is. She is here. So first place from Ethiopia, Birho Gede. Congratulations, a winning time of 42:45. Let's give them a round of applause, please. Congratulations and well done. Smile over here. All right, thank you very much, ladies. Down you come. Moving across now to the junior men. In third place.
So time of 44 minutes and 40 seconds, Simangali Sungalwana. Simangali Sungalwana.
In second place.
With a time of 59 minutes and 10 seconds, Carlo Fink.
And then, ladies and gentlemen, in first place, junior man.
That was a time of 38 minutes 28 from Broxer Athletics Club, Kenneth Dierkes.
All right, let's give them a big round of applause, please, ladies and gentlemen. Your top three junior men. Congratulations and thank you, gentlemen. Next up, we move across to our women 40 to 49 years old.
They're in third place, a time of 46 minutes 22 from Nedbank Running Club, Western Province, Janetta Kohler.
In second place,
from Kaiway VOB Running Club, a time of 45 minutes 59, Christiana Adriaans.
And then, ladies and gentlemen, in first place.
Well, a well-known athlete here in Western Cape road running circles, from Broxer Athletics Club, winning time of 45 minutes 49, Bulelwa Simai.
There we go, as they all go up onto stage. Great running in our women 40 to 49 years. Thank you, Bonga. Congratulations. Let's give them a big round of applause. Well done, ladies. Thank you very much. Across now, ladies and gentlemen, to our men 40 to 49 years in third place.
Oh, another well-known athlete here from RCS Guguletu. Time 39 minutes 12. Tsubwai Mwanengeni.
In second place.
A time of 38 minutes and 2 seconds from Nedbank Running Club, Western Province, Mtandazu Aina. Mtandazu Aina.
And then, ladies and gentlemen, in first place.
A winning time of 35 minutes 53 from Brimstone Itekwe Athletics Club, Rapson Chigara.
Repson up onto the first top step of the podium. The medal. And of course the prize money. Congratulations, gentlemen. Well done. Big round of applause, please, ladies and gentlemen. Your men 40 to 49. Congratulations to all the runners still coming home. We're just busy with the official prize giving. Congratulations on finishing your FNB Cape Town 12 ONERUN. Across now to the ladies And this the 50 to 59 category. In third place.
Running time of 50 minutes 56 from Boxer Athletics Club, Ursula France.
In second place.
Her time 50 minutes 38 from Strand Athletics Club, Suzanne Marais.
And then, ladies and gentlemen, in first place.
Winning time of 47 minutes 45 from Nedbank Running Club, Western Province, Albertina Kanyongo.
A great time in the women 50 to 59. An incredible result. Let's give them their recognition, ladies and gentlemen. A big round of applause, please. Thank you very much, ladies. Next up is your men, 50 to 59 in third place.
With a time of 43 minutes and 30, also running from Nedbank Running Club, Western Province, Andrew Cooper.
In second place.
Time of 41 minutes 54, Makaya Masumba.
Well done, Makaya. And then, ladies and gentlemen, in first place.
A time of winning time of 40 minutes 34 from Old Mutual Athletics Club, Mluleki Nubanda.
An incredible result, 40 minutes and 34 seconds, a speedster. Let's give them a big round of applause, please, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you. Across now to our ladies, 60 to 69. In third place.
Running for Nedbank Western Province, time of 1 hour, 2 minutes 28, Charmaine Cupido.
In second place.
Time there, 56 minutes and 30 seconds from Pinelands Athletics Club, Nancy Wool.
Well done, well done. And then, ladies and gentlemen, in first place.
Winning time, 54 minutes 14 from Nedbank Western Province, Olga Howard.
Well done, Olga. Big round of applause, please. Ladies, 60 to 69. Congratulations. And then across to our men, 60 to 69 in third place.
Running for Western Province Cricket Club, 50 minutes 33, Peter Wrench.
Thanks very much to Bonga and Grant doing such a great job up there, guys. Second place, men 60 to 69.
Time there, 49 minutes 40, running for Nedbank Western Province, Robbie Lindsay.
Welcome home, ladies. And then in first place.
Winning time, 48 minutes 32, from West Coast Athletics Club, Willie Coetzee. Willie Weskus, baie mooi.
There we go. Congratulations, gentlemen. Well done. Thank you. And then, ladies and gentlemen, in the 70+ category, our ladies in third place.
I need big respect in this category then. In third place, time there, 1 hour, 9 minutes, 6 seconds. From Celtic Harriers, the one and only Pixie Spark.
in second place.
Time 1 hour, 7 minutes 42 from Belleville Athletics Club, Marita Herbert.
All right, Marietta, we're going to ask you to move across to second place on that side for us. Go with Grant, he'll show you the way. There we go. Jump up and over and onto the second step. There we go. Thank you, Grant. Well done, you guys. Welcome home, you legends. Well done. Congratulations, Marita Herbert. And in first place in the 70-plus ladies.
Well, a time of 1 hour, 7 minutes 26. Only 16 seconds ahead of Marita from KYVOB, Diana Thompson.
Welcome, Simpson Sherlin from KFM. My wingmen at the start. Welcome home, girls. Congratulations, Diana. 1:07.26. There it is. Congratulations, 70 plus. Can you believe it? I want to see the ID books. I don't believe it 1 second, ladies. Congratulations, girls. Down you come. And then the last category in the age groups, it's the 70 plus men, ladies and gentlemen, in third place.
Time there of 1 hour, 5 minutes and 20 seconds from Fishhook Athletics Club, Horst Schiffer.
In second place, men 70 plus.
1 hour, 2 minutes, 4:52 seconds from ArcelorMittal Saldanha Sport, Leon Otto.
On the big stage in second place, Leon Otto. And ladies and gentlemen, your winner in the men 70 plus.
A winning time of 61 minutes 42 seconds from Nedbank Western Province, Henry Cleophas.
Let's give him a big round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Let's give him a big round of applause. Congratulations and well done. A big thank you to our podium ladies and of course Grant and Bonga. Thank you very much, gentlemen. We will do the elite men and ladies podium shortly, but it won't be immediately. So we'll do that in a couple of minutes or time. We're just waiting for anti-doping to come back. A big thank you to our dignitaries. Thanks, Grant. Thanks, Bonga. Really appreciate it. Congratulations to all our category winners. Well done. All right, super. Keep it going. Let's get these guys and girls home. 2 hours, 50 minutes and 20 seconds of running so far from the gun at 8:59 this morning. That was the A batch.
So that was the age category prize giving there, and just amazing to see some of these men and women over 70 years old, over 60 years old, and still running some pretty decent times, under an hour for 12 kilometers. The elite prize giving to follow shortly as some of the runners, walkers finish and walk their way home. Just interesting to see some guys sprinting against each other here, coming across the finish line, that they were dicing it there. Manfred, we were commenting, I wonder how they did on the 100-meter Bolt sprint, the Puma Bolt sprint.
They look like students.
Reminds me of the days when we used to do 2 Oceans and stop off at Barristers for an hour or two and get going again, and suddenly you've got a bit of energy at the end.
Why didn't you just join the pub of eternal despair?
So clearly people are out here to have fun, and they're having exactly that. Less than 10 minutes before the 3-hour mark as we wrap things up here at the FNB Cape Town 12 run. It's been a fabulous 2019 race. The race won by Morris Kajaga in the men, who did a three-peat, defending his title. And then the ladies race, the women's race, won by Brilliant Kipkoech. She beat Stella Chesang. Chesang finishing second, both of them under the course record, and Azimeru rounded up the podium, taking third for Ethiopia. That's it, we're almost done here. As you can see, just the last few. Carly Olifir coming across the finish line as we celebrate what has been a fabulous day here in Cape Town in 2019. They're having fun. The crew encouraging the last few runners over the finish line.
Just a moment or two ago, we saw two octogenarians. Is that an 80 plus?
Yes.
I think they're from Helderberg areas, the red and white strip. We saw them coming across the line. Well done to them.
Yeah, it really has been a wonderful race, from the young to the old, from the big to the small, from the fast to the not so fast. It really has been a fantastic race here throughout the streets of Cape Town. Once again, we say a big thank you to all of those that converged on the streets of Cape Town today. Runners coming from across the country, from across the continent, from across the world, to really enjoy the Cape Town 12 one run. Alec, your highlight of the 2019 Cape Town 12 one run?
I think that run by Brilliant Kipkoech, the fantastic run. You know, I've been watching on the cross-country circuit in Kenya, prolific cross-country runner, and today she came through and showed her class.
Manfred, for you, the highlight of the FNB Cape Town 12 one run?
Well, Alex stole my thunder, as expected. It had to. Look, the women's race was unbelievable. The men's race was great. Abdallah Mandi taking it on. I thought that was absolutely phenomenal. And I think just the amount of people that came out, 14,000 people coming to cross the line, having fun, and you know, just having a great day out here.
Yeah, so really, you're right. For me, that has been the highlight. The fabulous weather conditions. We thought we might get a little bit of rain, but really we didn't. The weather was absolutely magnificent. Not a breath of wind in the air. As 14,000 fantastic race here throughout the streets of Cape Town. Once again, we say a big thank you to all of those that converged on the streets of Cape Town today. Runners coming from across the country, from across the continent, from across the world, to really enjoy the Cape Town 12 one run. Alec, your highlight of the 2019 Cape Town 12 one run?
I think that run by Brilliant Kipkoech, the fantastic run. You know, I've been watching on the cross-country circuit in Kenya, prolific cross-country runner, and today she came through and showed her class.
Manfred, for you, the highlight of the FNB Cape Town 12 one run?
Well, Alex stole my thunder, as expected. It had to. Look, the women's race was unbelievable. The men's race was great. Abdallah Mandi taking it on. I thought that was absolutely phenomenal. And I think just the amount of people that came out, 14,000 people coming to cross the line, having fun, and you know, just having a great day out here.
Yeah, so really, you're right. For me, that has been the highlight. The fabulous weather conditions. We thought we might get a little bit of rain, but really we didn't. The weather was absolutely magnificent. Not a breath of wind in the air, as 14,000 runners ran through the streets of Cape Town, where Nelson Mandela first took his steps as a free man almost 30 years ago.